Volunteers of Tennessee hosting a top 10 club, the 9th-ranked Bears of California, as our college football kickoff weekend continues here on ESPN. Welcome to Knoxville, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler. You know, here in the land of the Volunteers, they're looking for Rocky Top again. Last year, all it was just plain Rocky. 5-6, first time they missed a bowl game in 18 seasons. And it's got their coach on the hot seat, quite frankly. And this is a guy that's won a national championship. For the Cal Bears, they come in highly ranked. Higher ranked than they have been in over 50 years. Jeff Tedford's done a reclamation project there that's probably second to none in college football. And now they come in 4 straight winning seasons. That hasn't happened at Cal since the Truman administration. And speaking of the Truman administration, I bring in my partners, Bob Greasy and Paul McGuire. Paul joins us this year, my longtime partner, Bob Greasy. Let's talk about the quarterbacks. These two young guys are in the spotlight tonight.
Nate Longshore starts for Cal, and it's somewhat of a do-over. He got the start in the opening game last year. Broke his leg in that ball game, sat out the whole season, won the job again this year. Now he comes into a place where it's very tough for a quarterback to succeed. This place is loud, maybe the loudest place for a quarterback to play as a visiting team. On the other side, Eric Ainge gets the start. 2 years ago as a freshman, he was outstanding. Last year, he was disappointing. The big thing for Eric Ainge is David Cutcliffe is back as the offensive coordinator. Cutcliffe was the guy that tutored Peyton and Eli Manning. I think that Eric Ainge is going to make the biggest improvement of all the quarterbacks in the SEC.
And on the other hand, you talk about Cal, and they've got one of the best offensive minds in football, and then they add a new offensive coordinator, Mike Dunbar.
Mike Dunbar came from Northwestern. Last year at Northwestern, he was the offensive coordinator. They averaged over 500 yards a game on offense. And here at Cal, he inherits the best duo I think in all of college football, Marshawn Lynch and Justin Forsett. Lynch last year averaged over 6 yards a carry, Forsett over 7 yards a carry, and between the two of them, 208 yards rushing per game. What I'm really interested to see tonight is these two guys on the field at the same time. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be exciting. And to add some excitement, we're going to go down to the field, get more on the ball game, to Bonnie Bernstein, another new member of our team. Bonnie?
Brad, it's not often you get a statement game in week one, but both of these teams have a lot at stake. Last year, Tennessee had its first losing record since 1980. Vol Nation is at its wits' end, and while Coach Philip Fulmer says, yes, this is a long season, he admits a win today on national TV against a ranked opponent could, quote, realign the stars in Knoxville. Back to you, Brad.
All right, Bonnie. Cal won the toss. They deferred. They did not defer. They're going to take the football, and that means James Wilhoit will tee it up. Marshawn Lynch and Damian Hughes are back deep for the Golden Bears of California. Big season for both these clubs. One trying to get back to its winning ways. One trying to go into possibly a Pac-10 championship or better. I think you can hear 109,000. Here's the kick. Line drive taken at the 4. And it's Lynch who we'll see a lot of. And he wiggles his way across the 25 and a nice return out to the 30-yard line. So that's where Cal will go to work. And the guy that Bob talked about, only his second start. He only made it through half that game last year. So he's a guy that does not have a lot of experience.
He's a big, strong kid. And he's a very bright young man. Can throw the ball with the best of them.
We've got a man down on the opening kickoff on the return for California. It may be Craig Stevens, the tight end, and he is a big part of their offense. That would be a huge loss right out of the blocks for Cal. As they get Craig to his feet, let's take a look at the starting lineups for the Bears of California. Here's how they look. They were really happy that Andrew Cameron, who was considering quitting football, would be back. He's their main lineman up front. And you see Stevens may not be the tight end in this opening snap. The impact players, as we take a look at them, Longshore is going to have to be good. Deshaun Jackson's a big play receiver. Marshawn Lynch and Justin Forsett, who Paul talked about, they will be huge in the ball game tonight. So Longshore, the sophomore, out of Canyon Country, California, in front of a huge crowd and a noisy one already. And as Bob said, how will he handle it? That's going to be the key to the Cal offense this afternoon and tonight. Eric Began has come in as the tight end now with Stevens down on that opening kick return. First down, Cal from its own 29-yard line. Longshore going to throw and got a man and on the run inside the 50, and it's Robert Jordan. What a way to open up the ball game.
I like the call. Everybody's talking about how good they were running the football, how that the spread come back man on the outside. He just beats him single coverage down the field.
Jordan, a great move to get open and get in front of Inky Johnson.
You know, the interesting part of it is they line up. We talk about the spread all the time, but they line up with two tight ends, and they go wide to the outside on man coverage. Excellent call.
Now they got a first down already in Tennessee territory. Forsett in the backfield. Forsett trying to cut it outside, and he's going nowhere. Tennessee's defense there to meet him. Marvin Mitchell made the tackle defensively for Tennessee. They're going to look at those linebackers. Only 3 starts among those 3 guys. That'll be something to watch for the Volunteers. And their impact players, they've got some. Turk McBride among them. He'll play several positions. Harrell's an All-American type candidate, and Jonathan Wade, their top defensive back, a track guy, and now it's all about football. So a loss on the play of 5. Second down and 15. 3 wideouts this time as they do spread it with Longshore in the shotgun. Quick throw in and out of the hands of Robert Jordan, the intended receiver, thrown behind him. Let's take a look at some of the basics that Bob's got for us in the ball game.
Well, when you go on the road, it's in a tough environment. There are 2 things you need to bring with you. You got to bring your run game, and your defense has to lead the way.
And magic of McGuire. How about you, Paul?
Well, I just think that the defensive secondary for Cal, one thing about them is that they cannot afford to give up the big play because they don't have that strength in their secondary.
It's a third down and long. You may not see it on your screen. We're having some technical problems. It is third and long, and whoa, what a collision at the 46-yard line. Lynch says hello to Demetrius Morley. So after the big play on the opening snap of the ball game, Cal goes backward and they'll punt.
And even though they hit the big play on the first down, their offense is still not settled. This crowd has got them a little bit shaken up.
Andrew Larson, the punter for Cal, he'll stand near his own 40-yard line. And Austin Rogers is back deep for Tennessee. Tennessee had all kinds of trouble with their special teams a year ago, and that's something they're definitely looking to improve on. Larson's kick high in the air and short off the side of his foot. And it will roll, though, inside the 15-yard line. He gets a pretty good bounce. Down at about the 12 is where Tennessee will start offensively. So the Vols gave up one big play, and then their defense stiffened. And now they've got it on offense, led by Eric Ainge. 11 career starts, 22 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. And he's going to be starting, though, down deep in his own territory. A kid that, as Bob said, had a great freshman year. Then last year shared time with Rick Clausen. That was some confusion that I think had the whole team in disarray. And Phil Fulmer says, quite frankly, I'd have dealt with it a little bit differently if I had to do it over again. But here he starts at his own 12-yard line. Play action. Ainge to fire deep down the sidelines. Got a man, and he's got it. Across midfield to the 47 is Robert Meacham. So a big play for Tennessee on its opening snap.
David Cutcliffe told us yesterday in the meeting we want to attack their corner opposite Damian Hughes. Sidquan Thompson, number 5, makes his first start ever. He's a redshirt freshman. The ball was not well thrown, but the receiver adjusts well to it.
Talk about a confidence builder, though, for Ainge. Now they're already in Cal territory at the 47. And to give on the ground. Arian Foster trying to cut it outside, and he picks up about 5. Nice run. Eric Ainge, he talked with us about what he wanted to do on the opening drive. This is probably more than he could have bargained for.
First drive, you want to get the snap, you want to get out, you want to get lined up with the new play clock, with the new change of the rule. We want to get out there, try to get the ball snapped, with 10, 15 seconds. You want to manage the game.
He's managed it pretty well, including the clock. We'll talk about the new rules as we go along at the 41-yard line. Here's a give. Foster on a little quick opener, and it didn't open very far. He got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe got a yard, and Desmond Bishop, who's a very good middle linebacker, let him have it there.
Well, that's the one thing about Cal that they do have. Their front seven, Brad, they are very good, very, very talented. And Bishop in the middle is a tremendous middle linebacker. And when you watch this defense work there, they're fine. But it's on the outside and the safeties is where they have their problem.
Here's Phil Fulmer's first third down situation of the year. Tennessee was 38% on third downs last year. With a blitz coming. Well, and he had a man right there, and Chris Brown probably should have held on to that football. Flags are down, though, so let's wait and see.
I'll tell you what's amazing is that they had two Tennessee players wide open, covered by one man.
And didn't get either one of them, and it's holding anyway.
And they threw it to Deku.
Now, Cal, I would assume, would decline this because it's not field goal territory right here. And if they take the penalty, it's going to be third down and do it again.
Yeah, but if they, let's go see.
And that is going to be what Cal will do. Rick Lumiere is our referee, decline the penalty, and now it'll be Tennessee to punt.
Now, this is an area where if you've got any fake punts, trick punt plays, you want to run it right here.
Little skullduggery here.
And I talked to the special teams coach. He said, we don't even put him in until the fourth game. All right? Yeah, watch.
Watch this.
Britton Colquitt is in there in punt formation. Deshaun Jackson is back deep, and they will punt. He'll try to hang it out in the corner, and it hit on the one and into the end zone. So they don't gain all that much on that. Cal will be back on offense with their dynamic duo in the backfield when we return. NHD presented by Pioneer Plasma in Knoxville, Tennessee. 3.5 minutes into the game, a couple big plays, one by each offense, but no score. And Cal's second possession begins at its own 20-yard line. Longshore at the controls. Marshawn Lynch, the tailback. They'll fake it to him and a penalty marker down, and they'll stop play here. And a false start on the Bears, so it'll be 1st and 15 back at their own 15.
And that's a problem with not being able to hear the snap count.
Our referee's microphone not working right now either.
One of the things I'm seeing, Brad, is that wherever Marshawn Lynch goes, there's somebody that comes up and makes a pop on him. That time, the corner, Jonathan Wade, number 4, came up and met him in the backfield.
Now they've got 3 wideouts, but Longshore will be under center. And the crowd coming to its feet. Here comes a blitz off the corner. And Lynch is going to get tracked down by that blitz. Boy, perfect by Ryan Carl, the outside linebacker, to make the stop. Let's check in with Bonner.
Well, Brad, we told you why the stakes are high today for Tennessee, but how about Cal? Highest preseason ranking in 54 years. If they can trek cross-country, beat a team in the powerhouse SEC with the rowdy 107,000 fans at Neyland Stadium, they will turn some heads. But perhaps more important, Brad, they're just tired of hearing Rocky Top. Jeff Tedford, the coach, has been playing that song 6:30 in the morning in the locker room since February. Said quarterback Nate Longshore, we're just tired of hearing it.
Mike Dunbar, the offensive coordinator, told us on the field yesterday, so I've had a headache for 2 weeks. Here's Longshore. Pressure coming. Bides his time in the pocket. There's a flag down as well. Turk McBride looked like he got an early jump off that left corner for Tennessee, which may give the 5 yards right back.
He was in the backfield before the offensive tackle got out of his stance.
And it will be walked off against Tennessee. Nate Longshore, we mentioned, just one start last year before breaking the ankle, and he had to battle to become the starting quarterback last year, and he talked with us about having to do it again this season.
For me, I'm just trying to focus on executing the offense, and when I'm playing, that's all I can be worried about. And when other guys are playing, I'll be there rooting them on, cheering just like everybody else.
After that Sacramento State game last year, a long rehab and a long way back. Well, as the Tennessee coaches told us, if he won the starting job twice, he must be the guy.
And he also goes to my barber.
Second down and long. Carl's thinking about a blitz off that corner again. Here he comes. Longshore wants to go the other way. Pumps, throws, and incomplete. And it'll bring up third down. Let's take a look at what happened to Nate Longshore last year, and it's not for the squeamish of hearts. Clean play, but in the pocket. This was September 3rd, so just almost exactly a year ago, and hit from behind. And that was the end of his season right there. And he'd had a pretty good quarter and a half before that occurred.
You say he won the competition with Joe Ayub, who started 9 games last year. He won the competition, but we're also told by the coaches from Cal, he says Ayub will probably play in this ball game. They were very close in the competition leading up to the start of the season. Third down along 8. Longshore with time and now running out of it. Gonna fire one down the sideline, and he's got his man, but it's broken up. Deshaun Jackson had it, and Jonathan Wade stayed with him, and he coughed it up on the sideline. That could have been a big gainer.
Boy, I tell you, this is a great play by Wade.
Got a flag down as well, way back at the line of scrimmage. Ineligible receiver downfield.
And they'll decline that. Well,
ineligible receiver downfield on the offense. Penalty to be declined. 4th down.
Now we've got Rick on the mic.
this is a good job by the receiver. When the quarterback starts scrambling, that's his route right there. When he sees him scrambling, he heads deep. That's what he should do.
Actually should have caught the ball.
Just didn't come down with the ball.
Yeah, Wade stuck his hand there. Not great defensive play. Wouldn't have counted anyway.
That's Austin Rogers back deep. Andrew Larson's second punt of the ball game upcoming. Snap a little high and wide, but he got a nice kick. Hung it up there for Rogers. Fair catch taken right about at the 35-yard line. 9 minutes, 48 seconds remaining first quarter. Still no score. Tennessee on offense when we return. 109,000 roughly at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, and we got a pretty good day. It could have been a lot hotter, and Cal knows that too.
I like where Cal got their tickets, Brad.
They're over there by the Tennessee River someplace. They brought about 5,000 fans, though. They did pretty well.
It's the nosebleed section.
Wow.
First down, Tennessee. It's on 35. Give inside, and that's Foster. Desmond Bishop made the stop. Tennessee offensively, some youth on that offensive line that has Phil Fulmer a little bit concerned, and he's an old line coach, so he knows all about it. The impact players for Tennessee, Aaron Sears, he's an All-American candidate. Arian Foster, almost 900 yards last year from his running back position, and Robert Meacham with that long reception to open up the ball game for the Vols. Second down is 7. Ainge comes up throwing, got his man, first down, spinning out across the 45 to the 46 is Robert Meacham again. Defensively for the Bears of California, Brandon Mebane is one of the best in the entire country. And he gets some help from his friends because at every level they have an All-American type player. He's got Nua Tafisi who helps him on the defensive line. We talked about Desmond Bishop. He's going to make half the tackles, it seems, in the ball game. And then Damian Hughes, all Pac-10 a year ago, a lot of speed, 5 interceptions last season from that corner spot. Tennessee first down from its own 46-yard line. And it's Foster. Got a blocker in front, but the blocker didn't get him much, and he only got about a yard. We got a Pac-10 SEC game going on here. Let's check in an ACC update. Here's Reese.
All right, Brent, Taco Bell studio update. Clemson's had a little bit of those, little sloppiness that comes with the first day against Florida Atlantic, but showing that offensive prowess too. Will Proctor finding Aaron Kelly there. 4 turnovers for the Tigers. Doesn't stop them from having a 24-6 lead in the third.
Clemson, Tommy Biden's team, they're highly touted. Maybe a threat to the Florida States and the Miamis and the Virginia Techs in the ACC, and off to a good start today. Second down and 9. Play action for Ainge. Deep out. Got his man. Curling around. Breaking a tackle. Lost the football momentarily, but Jason Swain held on to it. And it's another Volunteer first down at the 38-yard line of California.
And again, throwing to their left side on Thompson. Again, the freshman who is making his first start here today. Protection is good. Good play action. Single coverage on the outside. Just beat him with an out route.
And the Tennessee receivers, though he lost it at the end, he covered it again. That was one of the big disappointments. A highly touted group last year that just didn't live up to its expectations. They've had a good opening quarter here. Foster straight up the middle. Boy, he just got on Michael Frog and Parker and Liggins back in and just said, I'm coming with you, fellas. Look at the smile on his face. He's a California native, not recruited by the Bears, and all the way from San Diego to Knoxville.
One of the things you're seeing about both of these defenses, they're playing almost 8 to 9 guys in the box. They're letting the corners play man-to-man on the outside, and I know Ainge loves to see this, but they're going to make sure that they stop the run. We saw him stop Lynch from Cal in their first series of downs. This is the same thing that's happened to Tennessee. They're going to have to throw the ball. 2nd down and 3. They'll run it straight up the middle again. Foster, I think he's going to get the first down. DeCoux made the stop. Let's talk about some of the basics and the magic. We'll start with you, Bob, on your basics going this way.
Yeah, well, Tennessee, you've got home cooking, so take the pressure off of Ainge, and that's what they've done. Spread it around, run and pass, and defensively, speed dominates, and you've seen that already here today.
Yeah. Paul's magic.
And I'll tell you, one of the things that's going to happen, if Tennessee gets all consumed with Lynch and Forsett, they're going to throw the ball up and they're going to have some people open. They can't, neither one of these teams can really get consumed with the running game. They've got to respect the pass on both teams.
Tennessee is going to get a measurement here. It looked like he got the first down, but we'll wait and see. And he did by about the half the length of the football. At the 28-yard line. Phil Fulmer against non-conference opponents, 30-2. And of course, in his 15th season, he is the dean of SEC coaches, National Coach of the Year in '98. And home games, he's 72-14, but 9 of those losses have come in the last 4 years, and that's what's got all the folks in Rocky Top country a little bit concerned. 7th play of the ball drive. They're loving what they're seeing right here, though. Montario Hardesty is in the backfield now to give Foster a breather. They fake it to him, and here comes the end around. Brett Smith. Smith behind his blockers very well. I tell you what, give those blockers some credit for getting out there to lead the way. It didn't look like he was going to get much.
Smith is actually a wide receiver lined up. Watch the interior blocking. Sears on the left side goes down to make everybody think that it's going to be an inside play, and then gets back outside to add on to the luggage going downfield.
How'd you like to be that corner out there with Sears? 325. 2nd down and a yard. And a tough inside run by Hardesty, and he's got a first down. Tennessee, a very impressive drive, 5 yards again. They really like this kid Hardesty. They think he's going to be something special somewhere down the line. And down at the 15-yard line, 1st and 10. Now, there's rule changes this year. The clock starts on the ready-to-play whistle, and all changes of possession. And of course, the clock starts when the ball's kicked, not when it's handled. All these trying to speed up the game a little bit because it's gotten longer and longer in college football. Here comes a blitz. They run right by it and get down to about the 13-yard line. And guys, you and I are all in agreement, and I think everybody that is in this business, with the exception of coaches, thinks that some of these changes had to be made.
I think they had to be made, but I think the other one, and Bob and I talked about this, that the big change that really needs to be made is on first downs when the clock stops to move the chains and everything. This is where it adds on to the game, I think. I think they've got to get rid of that.
So far, it's taken 15 to 20 plays out of some of the games so far that we've seen in the opening weekend. Ainge off play action, rolls and throws, and he's got his man, and it's a touchdown, Tennessee. Chris Brown, the tight end, from 12 yards away.
Tight end's going to come from across the field. I like the call by David Cutcliffe. He gets his quarterback outside the pocket. There's a short and deep receiver on the right side, and if they're not open, I got a trailer with a tight end coming across.
James Wilhoit in for the point after. Impressive drive by the Volunteers. The extra point is up and good. And boy, this is what the Orange Nation was looking for. a confident quarterback. Eric Ainge looks all of that right now as he lights it up to make it 7-0. Volunteers in front. On ESPN, Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire, Bonnie Bernstein in Knoxville. They're happy right now, everybody in orange, because their team just went 65 yards in 10 plays. The touchdown pass from Ainge to his tight end, Chris Brown. And it wasn't just lip service after all that Tennessee was talking about using their tight ends more this year.
Yeah, well, if you can hit your tight ends and throw it to their backs, you can move the ball down the field.
Will Hoyt's got it teed up. Marshawn Lynch and Damian Hughes back deep for Cal. Well, one thing, we were talking with Jeff Tedford about it yesterday at practice. You don't want to get too far behind a team like this in a hostile territory. You might never dig yourself out. And they're going to have to dig it out from the end zone now. And they'll work again from the 20-yard line. Here's a touchdown.
Here's a touchdown. Here's the tight end. He's going to work himself over here. Now, instead of throwing this ball from the backfield, they get the quarterback outside the pocket, which is great when you start a ball game. He can see so much better from outside the pocket. The other two receivers aren't open. Look for the trailer across the field.
And on that drive, you know how you avoid third and long situations? Don't ever get in a third down. They didn't have one. Longshore brings out his offense. Since that one streak down the right sideline on the opening snap of the ball game, there hasn't been much offense for California. Forsett is in at the tailback spot. And his fullback Storer comes up and says, I can't hear you, and I don't know the play. And it's getting louder in here.
And there's a flag on the play.
And there's a flag on the play. Here's a call.
Prior to the snap, delay a game. Number 9 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
The noise is a factor. Let's check in with Reese Davis. Reese.
Well, while Cal is playing an intersectional game, Pac-10 play opening for Stanford and Oregon, and the Ducks at home behind Dennis Dixon, already with a 27-10 lead in the third. Dixon will scamper through the Cardinal defense and score 34-10 late in the third.
And here a Pac-10 team is in trouble already early. 1st and 15. Maybe a blitz from the corner. Handoff inside. Lynch. Nice job. Up the middle. Drop the ball. Fumble. The umpire's right there. There's still a scramble going on. Looks like Tennessee's got it, but we'll wait and see. Well, they've got it definitely. Inky Johnson, the guy that came out of the pile with it.
I think they're saying that it wasn't a fumble to begin with.
So they're going to bring it back to the 24-yard line.
Well, they're saying his knee was down, but I tell you what, Marshawn Lynch, he just showed you a little bit of his power and strength, because he was tackled at the line of scrimmage, basically, and still got enough power to pick up 5 yards on the play.
I don't know if that ball was out or not, Brad.
It was hard to tell from that particular angle. They get the snap off. It doesn't matter now, and hurtling out to about the 31-yard line of first down for Marshawn Lynch. Let's check in with Bonnie Bernstein. Bonnie?
Well, Brad, no surprise, Tennessee coach Philip Fulmer had a motivational tool in store for his team. After they practiced inside Thursday, he brought everybody over here to Neyland Stadium and showed them a highlight reel up on the Jumbotron of teams past and of teams present. Some nice highlights from spring and fall practices. He said, I wanted to make sure my team understood the definition of Tennessee football, commitment and dedication. So far, it looks like it's working, Brad.
Yep, and they want a sense of urgency, and they've got it so far. Longshore wants to flare it out and does to Marcus O'Keefe, who cuts back to the middle of the field, and he's got it out to the 36-yard line. It'll bring up a second down at about 5 there. Don't forget, college football's kickoff weekend continues here on ESPN about 8:45 tonight. John David Booty's got to take the field now. It's not Matt Leinart anymore. It's not Carson Palmer anymore. It's not even Reggie Bush in the backfield with him. College football primetime Saturday on ESPN, taking on the Razorbacks of Arkansas.
Hey, if you were laying in the bushes and you ever want to get a shot at USC, bring them to my house on the first game of the year when you lose all those starters on offense.
Fayetteville will be rocking. 2nd and 5. Hit in the backfield is Forsett by Marvin Mitchell. So the question at linebackers are starting to get answered already here for Tennessee. Those linebackers are playing very, very well. Let's take a look at our Good Hands flashback presented by Allstate. Last time these two teams met, you ask? 1987, Tennessee scored 3 first-half rushing touchdowns. And then Charles Wilson caught a touchdown pass from Jeff Francis in the fourth quarter right here as Tennessee beat Cal 38-12. They met back in 77 too, and that was a Cal win. And that spoiled the debut, the coaching debut of one Johnny Majors. 3rd down and 7. And the clock ticking down. Longshore pumps once and out in the flat. Found his man, but he's not going to get enough for the first down. Lynch taken out by Jonathan Pefney that time.
They had Lynch lined up outside wide. Nothing downfield where he could pick up a first down. Had to dump it to Lynch, hoping that he could pick up a first down.
It'll be 4th down and about 4.
The thing that's impressive so far about this game is Tennessee's defense. They lost 6 of their 7 guys, 6 of the 7 starters, but they're dominating this game right now.
Larson to kick, and Austin Rogers again back deep. End over end job. Rogers will take a fair catch call at the 25-yard line. A minute to play in the first quarter. Tennessee leading 7-0, taking maybe a little bit of pressure off that guy, Phil Fulmer. And he says, you know, coaching football necessarily isn't about pressure.
Pressure is all relevant. To me, pressure is the father that's out there that can't feed his family, or those guys over in Iraq that are trying to undo those bombs, you know, on the side of the road. And that's pressure. This is a game, and it's fun, and we've had our share of success here. And as I've told our team, we will hold that trophy up again.
He's pretty confident of that. He's not afraid to talk about last year, but now they say last year's behind him. This is a new season, and they will try to hold the trophy again. So far, they've got a 7-0 lead on the 9th-ranked team in the country. They won 13 games with that national title team. They were the first BCS national champion. And no, it was not with Peyton Manning. It was with T. Martin.
You know what? I was just looking down there and watching Aaron Sears, number 76, when you're talking about how big he is and how good he is, Bob. Isn't it amazing how they run left all the time right where he is? And I'm going to tell you what, he clears a path. He is big.
He's the only starter back on that offensive line. He's the left tackle.
First team All-SEC and a lot of preseason All-America lists. They're running left again, and he got a block again. And nice job of running by Arian Foster. Foster very close to a first down. Going to be about a yard short.
Boy, did he ever get a block. I'm going to tell you what, you talk about setting a guy up and then taking him to the inside. He is so big, and when his feet are so good, that's what, to me, when you look at an offensive lineman that's that big, Bob, you look at his feet. If he can move his feet, he's going to bury you.
It makes the difference from high school to college to pros. The guys that are big and can move their feet go all the way.
3rd down and 2. That's going to be very close on what is the last snap of the first quarter. Cal saying that they held him short of that first down. He was right to the yellow line. Thomas DeCou is the guy that came up to try to close the door, but as the officials put the ball down, maybe he is a little bit short.
He's going to be short.
Well, the fans already didn't like the spot by the umpire there, but they're going to bring the change from the far side. Jeff Tedford, what a job in his 5th year, the head coach of California. And they'll take a look at this to start the second quarter. We played one. Tennessee at home leading number 9 Cal by a touchdown. Well, California's defense was right. They did hold Tennessee shy of the first down. So that means Colquitt will come in to punt on 4th down and inches. Deshaun Jackson waiting on Colquitt's kick. Oh boy, and he hit it a mile. Jackson way back at the 6-yard line. What a punt and what great coverage. They drop him after about a 2-yard return. Deshaun Jackson, that was a mile long that Colquitt laid it out there. He's one of the Colquitt family, a long line of great punters. Talk about Tennessee's offense. They look good on that 65-yard drive, but the defense has really looked good.
I'm impressed with the defense, and you know, we said the special teams last year for University of Tennessee stunk. They've played very well here already.
Looking at that punt.
Tennessee special teams last year, they were awful. We were here, what, 3 days? We talked about them for 3 days, how bad they were. And now everything is working for this team. The offense is working, the defense, and the special teams. California's in trouble.
they are, and they get behind this 12th man, and that's not going to help them either because the noise has already caused one penalty for a delay of game. And now they're backed up in that orange end zone almost again at the 8-yard line. And Longshore, you can tell, is having trouble. He's trying to bark some audibles to both sides. And on the run out across the 10 to about the 11 is Lynch. Tennessee defensively, this is the kind of licks they put on. They were worried about their linebackers. I don't think they have to worry anymore, at least not early in the ball game. There's Mitchell with a big hit. Watch this one from the corner. And everywhere that Forsett and Lynch have tried to hide, there has been no place to hide.
Well, this defensive line, they're concentrating on one thing and one thing only. That is Lynch, number 10, when he's in the backfield. Forsett, number 20, when he's in the backfield. You watch that defensive line. They're going right at him. Wherever he goes, they go.
Two tight ends in the spread. Flags are down. The throw in and out of the hands of Lynch's hands. And there's the defensive coordinator. Who's been around a long time. Big John Chavis.
Talking to him yesterday, you know, we told him, you know, he knows he lost 6 of his front 7. He says, but you know, he was trying to bite his tongue and not say these guys are pretty good, but he likes this defensive line. He likes the 3 starting linebackers.
Tennessee in the neutral zone, so an offside call will give Cal some free yardage.
And it was almost like he knew that this defense, even though they lost some pretty good players, was going to be pretty good.
Well, you know, I talked to Turk McBride yesterday, Bobby. He's a defensive end, number 90, a big guy. He just said, you know what? We don't get respect. We played last year. All of these guys are playing this year. We played like 40 plays a game, and nobody even mentions that.
And that's
just
what
because,
Chavis.
Yeah, because we didn't start.
So Chavis was saying we play a lot of players.
2nd and 2, the give, and breaking a tackle is Lynch, and now he's in the open field. Nice run. And that shows a little bit of what Marshawn Lynch can do. And he's got a first down for California. Let's get an update on what the Gators are doing. And here's Reese Davis. Reese.
Well, Brad, the one thing we haven't had on this opening Saturday is a big upset, and it's very early, but Southern Mississippi in its opening drive against Florida marches right down. Jeremy Young throwing it in there to Damian Carter. Touchdown. Southern Miss up by 7.
Well, that's very early in that game, but would that ever be a oops?
Oops.
At the 31. Cal, a little more room to breathe now. Longshore going long. Wide open. And complete down to the 41-yard line.
No, incomplete.
Oh, he dropped it. Lavelle Hawkins had it. He took a big hit, but I thought he had held on.
This was a well-designed play, a little play action, and Hawkins sneaks down the middle. The ball should have been thrown a little better down the field, but Wade knocks the ball loose. That ball should have been a completion, and California needs some plays.
Well, but that's the second time Wade has knocked the ball loose from a reception. He did it once in the first quarter. He just did it again.
They really like the senior out of Shreveport, Louisiana. A trap guy who, for the first time, was in spring ball this year. Didn't run track, and that's helped him with his football skills. Out to the 39-yard line goes Justin Forsett. Forsett was a yard short of 1,000 yards rushing last year. And the three of us and Bonnie, we're all looking around and said, now, how come they didn't know he needed 1 yard to get 1,000?
And he had like a half a game, you know, that he didn't play, and he could have gotten 1,000, but no one kept up with it.
But they're saying nobody at the game, and they took him out of the game along. You know, there was a lot of time to play.
He could have played a bunch more snaps.
Yeah.
Motion that time, as they'll blow this one dead. Flag down on 3rd down and what would have been a long 2, and now it might become a long 7.
This is a problem that you have with the noise when you go on the road.
And the penalty walked off against Cal, so it will be 3rd down and long. Don't forget, ESPN Full Circle brings you Florida State and Miami. They'll have it from every angle. The game on ESPN, Bobby Bowden, and a lot of other close-ups of the quarterbacks and more on ESPN2. ESPNU and ESPN 360 have the Skycam, plus commentary from Colin Cowherd. That's ESPN Full Circle, Florida State, Miami, Monday nights on ESPN and all of our other ESPN affiliated networks. That should be fun. It should be a heck of a game. All 3 penalties have been on the California offense, and a couple of them because of the noise so far. So now it's 3rd and 7. Longshore over the middle, and he's got his man, and it's a first down. So they hang in there and get it back up near the 45-yard line, and it's right back to Lavelle Hawkins. That's probably a good thing, is to go back to the guy that just got whacked and dropped one.
Yeah, but that other one should have been a completion about 50, 60 yards down the field.
That's true.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the thing that it really does when you have two great backs in the backfield like Lynch and Forsett is that it freezes your linebackers. And these guys are holding in there. You watch them. If all Cal has to do is, I would on every play run some type of play action, because it freezes that front seven of Tennessee.
Now trips out to Longshore's right. Here comes a heavy pressure in the pocket, and down he goes at the 35. Gerard Mayo, the linebacker. They had a lot of receivers out there, but not a lot of blockers to pick up everybody that was coming.
Gerard Mayo comes in. They just sent more guys than they had than Cal had to block. Look at Mayo, number 7. When he comes in, there's just nobody left to block him. And there's where another one, when the quarterback's got to get rid of the ball, Greasy.
It was a zone blitz on the right side. Everybody was covered. Hey, don't look at me. I quit playing a long time ago. I mean, I pull for these guys, these quarterbacks, but don't look at me.
Way back at the 36-yard line. It's 2nd down and 19 now. Longshore, little shovel pass to Lynch. Up the middle, he got a decent chunk of the yardage back and got to about the 43-yard line. You know, the Bears knew, with all that noise they pumped in at home and everything, Jeff Tedford knew what he was in for coming into Knoxville.
They have great team speed. They're physical. Obviously, we're going to play in a hostile environment. But I think just looking at them, you always have to see, every time you turn on the tape, you see speed and athleticism.
Pac-10 Coach of the Year a couple of seasons ago when they went 10-2 and almost were a BCS club. Some people felt they should have been. Now, after an 8-4 campaign, even higher expectations this year. 3rd down, Longshore again in trouble, trying to break free. Down he goes again. Who else? Gerard Mayo. He's going to send Longshore to the Mayo Clinic if he keeps playing like this.
Gerard Mayo, I'm sorry, go ahead, Bob. Gerard Mayo is number 7.
Quarterback's got to get rid of the ball. When you see that, if you can't beat to the outside, just get rid of the ball. Don't take the loss of yardage.
Lynch had a decent block going there for a second, but he just had to hold it too long. So 2 sacks on that possession for Mayo. Larson to punt. Nice kick. Rogers fair catch again, taken back inside the 20 at about the 17-yard line. 49-yard punts with 9 minutes 56 seconds remaining in the first half. Tennessee has got the lead. They've got the football when we come back to Knoxville. Former head coach at Ole Miss, and then was going to head to Notre Dame before surgery took him out of that job. He sat out of coaching last year, and boy, the smile on his face to know that he's back home, as he would say, with one of his best friends in Phil Fulmer as the offensive coordinator here for the Vols. And he's got Eric Ainge playing better. That ball is incomplete, but Eric Ainge, of course, just one of the many quarterbacks. You talk about the best he ever had, Peyton Manning. Eli Manning was his quarterback at Ole Miss. Heath Schuler, who was the #1 draft choice of the Redskins. T. Martin won a national championship for the Volunteers. And Andy Kelly, when you go back in the day, and Andy's still the all-time leading passer in Arena Football League. So this guy knows how to coach quarterbacks.
And I got a kick the other day talking to Phil Fulmer. Fulmer said that the last thing he said, it was a blessing, his returning to Tennessee.
That's what the fans think, too. From the 18, here's the throw out complete, very near a first down. And that's Brett Smith. So Ainge has played pretty darn well so far. And David Cutcliffe talked with us about his protege, the junior out of Hillsboro, Oregon.
He's just got to focus himself in all the right directions. He was getting pulled in a lot of directions. You come in and start as a freshman, a lot of pressure thrown on him. I think he was trying to hold himself to a standard that wasn't quite fit for a young quarterback.
Right now he's got a 3rd down and short, 3rd and 1. Going to try to go straight ahead with the quarterback sneak, and he's got it. Let's check in with Bonnie on the sideline.
I bet that Cutcliffe is pretty glad he doesn't have to deal with Tim Mixon today. Mixon, one of the corners for Cal Cal that was supposed to be considered one of the best corner tandems in Pac-10 along with Damian Hughes blew out his ACL in the preseason. How's the knee doing?
Oh, the knee's doing great. Right now I'm just rehabbing, trying to get my strength back in my leg, and then it's going to take like 5-6 months and I'll be back to normal.
You went to surgery?
Excuse me?
When's the surgery?
Oh, the surgery's going to be on the 14th this month.
Now, is it me or... Oh, we'll get back to you as soon as this play's over. Hang on one sec there, Tim.
All right, it's first down for Tennessee at the 28-yard line. Ainge pumps once and then throws incomplete. Back down to Bonnie and Tim.
Tim, how hard is it for you to watch them throwing to every side except Damian's?
It's real difficult for me to watch because I know if I was out there, half of the balls the receivers caught would have been completed. So what I can do is just coach, go out there, try to get Saquon, give him little coach pointers, and look forward to the future.
All right, thanks, Tim.
Tim, good luck with the rehab. He takes a big chunk out of their special teams, too. He averaged 15 yards a punt return last year. Ainge going to loft one. Nice touch. First down, Tennessee. And it's the tight end, Chris Brown, who had the touchdown catch earlier.
I'm going to tell you something. This takes talent. This really takes talent. When you see the tight end going downfield, he's on the top side of the screen. And watch where this ball is placed. There is no chance for the defender, Pimentel, as a linebacker covering him, and there's no chance for him to make a play on the ball.
It was a great replay when you saw the shadow of the ball before he had turned his head. It was in the sunshine of Neyland Stadium. Great grab, nice touch on the throw. And Brown with his second reception from his quarterback. Blitz coming from Cal. End around coming from Tennessee, and they've got some room. Robert Meacham, shoestring tackle. A good one by Thomas DeCoux, or he might have been off to the races. Let's get an update on the Cornhuskers and check in with Reese.
All right, Brad, Nebraska taking on Louisiana Tech, riding a wave of momentum from the Alamo Bowl. Mueller, anyone? Josh Mueller hauling in the touchdown pass from Zach Taylor. Nebraska, enough points to take care of business, 42-10 late in the fourth now. And look at what's happening to Dan Hawkins in his debut. Under 5 minutes to go, trailing Montana State.
Here it's Tennessee by a touchdown as Foster goes for the first down on second down and short. Arian Foster, we mentioned, out of San Diego. His mom is here at the ball game. She lives way out in Albuquerque. His mom, Bernadette's at the game. And we had a chance to meet Mom yesterday.
Isn't it kind of interesting the way Ainge gets his plays in? Every single play is signaled into him. And there are over 100 plays. But he does not have any kind of an armband. They have to memorize. They went through that thing Thursday, Friday. They go through it all the time on all the signals. They have, it's like physical tests on what to do.
The 42. Dancing in the pocket is Foster, and he got near the 40-yard line.
Paul, these quarterbacks are young, and they got their minds are not cluttered with all this stuff. He's looking over for the sideline. He said he's suggesting something right there. He says, "How about a takeoff?"
Well, Kirk Roper, the running backs coach, is the guy that gives all the signals. And I tell you, we were watching. It is really funny. I mean, you've got over 100 in some places, and they're all in this game.
Ninth play of the Tennessee drive now. 6.5 to play in the half. Hardesty in the backfield now as Ainge drops. Plenty of time. Got a man open in the middle. It's intercepted. Tip pass and intercepted by Brandon Hampton. Hampton going the other way, and he's back to midfield and more. Big play by the California defense on a tip pass. 34-yard return on the interception by Hampton.
It was a poor throw. The throw was behind the receiver.
Lucas Taylor was the intended receiver.
Top right of your screen, right over. Look at how far the ball is thrown behind. Now, Taylor may have been supposed to be further outside, but you can't tell. But Ainge is playing a lot more than Taylor, so I'm putting it on Taylor.
But I'll tell you what, though, is that a great interception by Hampton? You talk about total concentration on the ball.
And something that this Cal team needed at this point in time.
Did they ever? Bill Fulmer saying, let's just hang in there, guys. That was a tip pass. That can happen to anybody.
Now they have both Lynch and Forsett in the backfield.
Now one comes split out to the left side. Forsett in the backfield. Lynch wide receiver left. Forsett dropped in the pocket for a loss. 5:45 remaining in the first half. Tennessee leading here at home in Knoxville in front of their hometown crowd on this college football primetime on ESPN, our college football kickoff weekend. And the key play in the ball game, Eric Ainge rolling out, throwing on the run, 12-yard touchdown pass to Chris Brown. That'll bring up second down at 12 after Forsett was dropped in the pocket. Here comes a blitz. Boy, he had to just get rid of that thing. And he did a pretty good job of getting it out of there because he would have been sacked. Byron Storer, the fullback, I guess the closest guy, the intended receiver.
Well, he did a nice job of avoiding the sack. You're right, Brad. How many times has he been sacked? 2 or 3 times already today? Yeah, a couple sacks already.
Both of them by Gerard Mayo, the linebacker. This is an opportunity California does not want to waste. And now they've got 3rd and long.
Well, these aren't good either. 3rd, and this is the 3rd time that Cal's been 3rd and 10 or more.
3 wideouts to the right. Longshore. Deep throw and dangerous and intercepted by Tennessee. Getting it right back is Antoine Stewart. And Stewart back to the 45-yard line. Not a smart throw.
This is a bad throw all the way short. Bad. And into all those orange shirts.
That's the frustration. Longshore made the tackle.
Ayers got the pressure and got the hit. And then the ball just fluttered down there to Antoine Stewart.
He had good time in the pocket. Just couldn't wait that long. You got to get out of there, do something. I think the frustration of the first 4 series, 4 punts, that time they couldn't get anything done.
Tennessee goes back to the ground. Tough yardage inside. Desmond Bishop makes a stop on Arian Foster.
I'll tell you one thing. I am really impressed with this Tennessee defense. I mean, you know, they could have given up some points, and they didn't. You talk about, you know, Cal came up, made some plays, but as they crossed the 50-yard line, Tennessee just said, that's it.
Actually, Tennessee was number 1 in the SEC and number 2 in the country in rush defense last year, but they gave up untimely big plays. That's what cost them a lot of ball games. That pass very close to being completed down there to Jason Swain. Damian Hughes, though, made a nice play on the corner over there to break it up. Time now for our Aflac trivia question for the day. Who did former Tennessee quarterback Peyton Manning replace when he made his first appearance as quarterback for the Volunteers back in 1994? Think that one over. Flag on the play. Looks like it's going to be a holding call against the Vols, and it is. So there goes their great field position out near midfield. They're backed up now inside their own 36-yard line. 4 minutes and change remaining in the first half. Tennessee, the touchdown pass, the only scoring so far.
Grace, let me ask you, Ainge, is he a little late getting to the outside? Those long passes to the outside?
Well, early on he was right on, but that square in that he threw was behind the receiver. And
Foster got collared as he got out near the original line of scrimmage.
Just some mental lapses that he's having or what, but he played pretty well the first quarter and a half.
Sidquan Thomas is the guy that made the stop on the tackle. Don't forget, number 6 USC and Arkansas. Another Pac-10 SEC battle will follow us about 8:45. So 3rd down, and they're back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10. Arians had a pretty good first half, 44 yards already. Ainge in the shotgun with 3 wide receivers. Has got a man out there and got it to him, and I think it's going to be a first down. Great run after the catch by Robert Meacham. I don't think the spot was very good, and Phil Fulmer has lost his lid over this one. I don't blame him. I thought he had the first down. Now, Phil doesn't drop his cap very often. He said to us doing the interviews yesterday, "Does my hair look bad?" You know he wouldn't take his cap off unless he was ticked off.
Oh, he's giving the line judge a talking to over there.
The referee and the side judge talk it over.
Well, but you have to look where the ball is when his foot goes out of bounds.
The previous play is going under further review.
So it'll be reviewed. And we'll get a chance to take another look.
Now, he did not say that the coach is requesting this. I don't think Fulmer's requesting it.
He's got his left foot down. The ball is a yard in front of the marker.
Look where the ball was when his feet were down.
I think his foot was ahead of the line, and the ball was a yard ahead of the line, if you ask me.
Okay, now here's the ball. Is in his left hand.
Not out of bounds yet. Look how far forward the ball is.
Now remember, there is a replay challenge. Bob mentioned it. It's a new rule as well. You get one challenge per game as a head coach, and as Bob said, now this is the officials looking at this. I'm pretty sure this isn't Phil that has called a timeout to look at this.
Well, we got into that rule talking about it, and it's just under review. And what happens is that all the coaches really have to do is wait, because they cannot afford. They only get one challenge.
Yeah, you want to have it late.
If you use it now, you have no chance. And another thing, you got to worry about timeouts in this whole thing too.
Well, everything is reviewed anyway. Every play in the game is reviewed. So if the coaches are patient, the play is going to be reviewed.
There's the actual replay rule. One coach challenge per team, as we talked about, per game. And you have to have a timeout to call. You can't call one when there isn't one. If the call's reversed, you get your timeout back.
After further review, there's video evidence that shows the ball should be placed on the 45-yard line.
Good call.
That's the line to gain. First down.
That's the way to get it done.
That's why instant replay or video was instituted to straighten those things out. That was not a coach's challenge. That was the reviewer up in the stadium letting him know, hey, I want to look at this a little more.
Every play is reviewed when you really think about it that way. And of course you might say, well, it's the first half, big deal, it's a 45-yard line. Hey, there's 3 minutes and 51 seconds left. They would have had to punt had that not been a first down. So they keep the ball at the 45 of California. On the inside, Adrian Foster, tough couple yards. We asked you the Aflac trivia question earlier. Who did Peyton Manning go in for to make his first appearance at quarterback in '94? And Bob, I think you were there.
It was 1994. It was in the Rose Bowl. Keith Jackson and I were doing the game, and Colquitt started the game, Jerry Colquitt. Todd Helton replaced him, and when he didn't do so well, Peyton Manning came in. And
started a brilliant
career. That's the way the legend of Peyton Manning started around here.
First down, and then some. Might be a touchdown. Robert Meacham, touchdown, Tennessee.
And I believe that was Thompson.
It was.
Corner. And a problem that he makes here that you just cannot make when you're out there in space by yourself, one-on-one, is you cannot misjudge the ball. You've got to go through the receiver to get to the ball. If you can't make the interception or knock the ball down, you got to make sure you're in a position to make the tackle. Watch out on the outside. Look what happens here. He just goes for the ball, misses the ball, Meacham concentrates and gets a touchdown. Beautiful.
No safety help at all. Touchdown from 42 yards. Will Hoyt's extra point is up and good. Tennessee looking like the Tennessee we used to know a little bit in this first half. And how about the wide receivers? We said they had to start to get involved. I think Robert Meacham's involved. Over 100 yards and a big touchdown.
An all-new
special in this game so far. Eric Ainge, 8 of 12. 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. The interception was not a good throw, but it was a tip ball.
He's
had a good start.
Had a couple of bad throws, bad decisions, but for the most part, he's played very well in this first half.
And now the crowd starting to rock here in Rocky Top in Knoxville again. 14-0 Volunteers. Will Hoyt's got it teed up. Marshawn Lynch, Damian Hughes are back deep. Lynch has had very little to show the world that he's a Heisman candidate so far today. He's going to take the kickoff after it was touched by his teammate. He brings it up across the 20 to about the 23-yard line. Let's check in with Reese Davis in the studios. Reese.
All right, Brad, Lou, and Mark alongside. Coming up on the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report, we're all set for the showdown in Austin next week between Texas and Ohio State. Big Ten blowouts all day, and the Gators struggling a little bit early. Tennessee's not so far.
No, it just shows you one assistant coach can make a huge difference on an offensive football team, such as David Cutcliffe in Tennessee.
Well, that assistant coach is John Chavis of the defense, shutting out this Cal offense. Come on, Lou.
Chavis has been very good. So, too, is Cutcliffe. We'll see you guys at halftime.
All right, fellas, we'll see you in about 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Longshore on the give, trying to stretch it out as 4-set, and that defense that Mark just talked about of John Chavis just won't let him go. Demetrius Morley, the sophomore, makes a nice play from the safety spot.
Oh, you run east and west. Tennessee and Morley have enough speed to catch him and run him down.
Well, we were talking to Tennessee, and the offensive players of Tennessee talking about their defense, said this is probably the fastest defense that they have seen. They are much faster than they were a year ago.
And fast. Bob talked about speed. And Tennessee and everybody in the SEC's got it. Or almost everybody anyway. 2nd down and 8. Longshore pumps. Little indecisive. He does complete it to about the 30-yard line to Eric Began. Let's take a look at the ESPNU All-State Standings Review. And the top 10, Reese talked about Ohio State rolling. Notre Dame's got a date with Georgia Tech tonight. Texas a winner over North Texas today. Auburn, West Virginia, USC. We mentioned USC and Arkansas meet after we get done. There's California, ranked number 9, highest ranking since the early 50s teams back there with Pappy Waldorf and the gang back in 51 and 52. Now, right now, they don't look like the number 9 team in the country. 3rd down and 3. Here comes the faithful to full voice here in Knoxville. Longshore almost intercepted. And a penalty marker down. Ryan Carl, the linebacker, might be guilty of interference.
I mean, this was so easy to call, Bob, because you cannot hit the receiver until the ball gets there.
Yeah.
You can't be on his back.
Well, the big thing is it'll give him a 1st down.
And one more chance at least with 1:10 left.
And they still have 3 timeouts. They be in California.
Cal's had the ball 5 times. They've punted the first 4 times.
Pass interference, number 39 of the defense. The ball will be marked at the spot of the foul. 1st down.
Just a little early there, Ryan.
Yep.
Junior out of Franklin, Tennessee. So a new chance. Here's the spread with 4 wideouts, and now the officials are going to blow things dead again.
California just called a timeout.
I think they had too many guys on the field. Looked like they had 1 too many. Timeout. 1:10 remaining 1st half. Tennessee by 2 touchdowns.
For a limited time.
College football kickoff weekend. Boy, the defense of John Chavis has done a dandy of a job on the California offense so far. But Cal still got hope with 1:10 left. And a 1st down. Longshore incomplete.
Bad footwork. Got to set your feet before you throw the ball.
Yep.
I think he's a little shook up right now.
Yep.
Talking about Longshore. We may see Joe Ayub. This was a battle that went all spring and all summer. And Tedford just decided a few days ago that Longshore was going to take the 1st snap.
This is an offense that was highly touted, and they have run only 6 plays in Tennessee territory today. And they still aren't there again right now at their own 37-yard line. Longshore. The screen pass out to Lynch. Didn't get much blocking help out there either, though, and he swarmed under. Demetrius Morley was the first to meet him, and then he got help from Marvin Mitchell and company.
I'll tell you one thing, when you say that the ball draws a crowd,
yeah.
Lynch draws a crowd. Lynch catches the ball, and by the time he turned up to go upfield, he had 5 guys over there.
There's Joe Ayub, the senior who ran a lot of the spread offense in his community college before coming to California. Longshore pressured from behind, pumps once and twice, and now trying to scramble out of trouble, and he draws a crowd. And they're all orange jerseys. Rico McCoy, the outside linebacker, number 5, is the first to meet him. And the final seconds ticking away in the 1st half.
Bob, there's no place to throw the ball. I mean, he really does. These guys are covered all over the field. They have no chance to throw it.
Well, you had 2 quarterbacks, and I think if you had 2 and you couldn't make a decision, I think what Jeff Tedford's got to do is give the other kid a chance coming out the 2nd half.
Well, we'll certainly find out. He heads to the locker room. His 9th-ranked team is down 2 touchdowns on the road in a very unfriendly environment. 1st half belongs to the Volunteers of Tennessee. And let's check in with Bonnie on the field.
Coach Tedford, give me your report card on Longshore's first half performance.
Well, a little shaky. He's got to settle down a little bit. We had some guys open, but we had some drop balls as well. We got to get it going in the second half.
What's the likelihood you'll put Joe Ayub in there?
I don't know. We'll talk about it at halftime.
Coach, thanks.
Obviously, they're going to think about it, and Jeff heads to the locker room with Tennessee at home, looking like the Vols of old. 14-0, the Volunteers. Let's head back to the studio and Reese and the guys. Fellas.
I think speed has dominated, and we expected them to rush coming in, averaging over 200 yards, rushing the two of them. They've got, what, 36 yards?
Yeah, and Paul, the linebackers were a question mark because they hadn't had a lot of starts between them. They don't look like they are inexperienced.
Not anymore.
No, not anymore.
Kirk McBride, he told me yesterday, he said, you know, nobody respects us. We played a lot of football. We played 40 plays last year, and we're not getting credit for it. But, you know, the other thing is, too, as you look at that California team, they've only had 3 plays over 10 yards out of 28 plays, and that's horrible.
They threw into Tennessee territory on the first pass of the ball game. They haven't been back since. They had 6 plays in Tennessee territory, and they just can't get back on the Vols side of the field. And now Tennessee will have the football to start the third quarter, and the kick will go out of the back of the end zone and a touchback. So Tennessee will work from the 20 as we check in again with Bonnie.
Cal's Jeff Tedford sticking with Nate Longshore in the second half. He said, don't blame all of our problems on him. We've had drop balls. We've had busted protections. Nate's had his issues, but he's the guy for now. I asked Tedford, does that mean we won't see Ayub? He says, no, there's a chance we'll see him, Brad.
I still think that might happen.
You know, and I like that. I like coming back with the guy. You know, give him another chance. Give him another or 2 possessions, and then you can always go to Ayub and still win the ball game.
So Angels set up the Vols offense at the 20. Play action coming back, wide out screen, and he threw it too low for Robert Meacham, who had a huge first half. Meacham over 100 yards and a touchdown in the first half.
Yeah, that's on Ainge there. You got to get the ball out there. That, you know, Meacham, when he caught the ball and ran away from Thompson outweighs that cornerback by 40 pounds. These wide receivers for Tennessee are huge. Meacham is 6'3" and 210 pounds. The corner weighed only 180, so he's a hard guy to bring down.
Ainge comes up throwing, and he's got a man who broke a tackle. Robert Meacham again. Meacham, one man to beat, who might have an angle. Cuts inside the 20. He is gone. Touchdown. Robert Meacham was having a pretty good game. It just got better.
Well, it was the same situation as I just said. Meacham, who is 6'3" and 210, beat Thompson, who is only 5'11" and 178 pounds and cannot tackle Meacham.
80-yard touchdown. And Will Hoyt's extra point is up and good.
There's a flag on this play on the extra point. But again, you're talking about the same thing that happened before. You've got Thompson going for the ball instead of making sure that the receiver is tackled.
And this will go against Tennessee, so they'll have to do it again. What a way to light up the crowd in the opening 35 seconds of the second half. Look at the numbers for Meacham. 2 touchdowns. That's all he had all of last year.
Yeah.
And we'll re-kick.
He was the leading receiver last year with 29 catches, but only 2 for touchdowns. High expectations when he came out of high school. Some of these others wide receivers for Tennessee the same. I think David Cutcliffe is not only going to have an effect on the quarterback, but on the receivers and the entire offense, obviously.
He already has, and he told us, I told those guys, you need to lose weight. You got to get in better shape. You have to be tougher. They only had 2 plays of 40 yards or more last year from the wide receivers. Check this one out.
Single coverage out there. That's just poor tackling. If you're going to play cornerback, not only do you have to cover, but you're going to have to be able to tackle also.
And Jason Swain says, I'll give you a little help. He didn't have to give him much. Got a hand block in there, and that's it. Happy Robert Meacham.
Well, we were talking to Tennessee about Meacham. He is legitimate. I mean, you look at the size of this guy, what Bob was talking about. And then here's Thompson with the missed tackle. You have got to make that tackle. You've already been beaten on the pass route. Now make the tackle.
That's the second time that's happened to him. One in each half. And the cutback at the end is what got him to the end zone and the checkerboard for Tennessee.
Swain looked like a traffic cop, did he?
He did. So now California knows they're in a world of trouble. And they've got to find some offense, and they've got to find it in a hurry. Still plenty of time left, but if they don't wake up and start playing like everybody expected them to, they're going to get blown out here in Knoxville.
That's 14-0 on the road at Neyland Stadium is a lot different than 21-0. You talk at halftime about let's go out and do something, get a score, we'll only be down 7 points. Well, that whole halftime speech has changed now.
They've got it teed up. And Wilhoit's kick deep again. This one won't be touched. At least not out of the end zone. Taking a knee. They'll work it at the 20 as we check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
You want to give, the receivers are giving credit to not just David Cutcliffe, but Trooper Taylor, the Vols' new wide receivers coach, for helping change their mentality and change their physical condition. Taylor over the summer made the receivers wear 10-pound weight jackets every day during summer workouts in the sweltering heat during drills. Swain was telling me this year, everybody's going to fear us. Nobody's going to want to line up against Tennessee's receivers.
Right now, I think they're probably right. And now it is getting loud in Knoxville. Longshore, quick throw out to Hawkins. Nice move by Hawkins, a stiff arm, and he got out. And a flag goes down. That'd be a personal foul at the end of the play. Antoine Stewart's the guy that ran him out.
You know, Bob, I really like the call. I like the call because what it does is gets Longshore back into the ball game. Didn't ask him to do anything courageous. Just get the ball out to the receiver, let him run with the football. This was an excellent call.
It'll be all for naught, though, apparently. Holding call going against Cal.
You know, you could talk about the quarterbacks and receivers
Holding,
and running backs
number
all
11
you
on
want.
the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
And it's Robert Jordan, the wide receiver. And
oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he almost beheaded Inky Johnson over there.
But you know, if you don't, if you got to take a look at this offensive line. If they don't block anybody, there's no way the running backs can run. The quarterback has the time to throw. I mean, they're getting killed. And the front line is really, they have not done a thing.
Well, they haven't not had good field position either. 7 possessions, 4 of them have started at their own 20 or worse.
And it's 1st and 15 again. And it might be a blitz off the corner. Here it comes. Picked up by Storer, the fullback. And Longshore gets it complete to Lynch, and he got tattooed right in the kisser by Johnson.
You know, guys, coming into this, one of the big things we talked about was Mike Dunbar, the offensive coordinator, and the spread. Now, this formation may look like a little bit of the spread, but they're not running any of the spread plays where the quarterback fakes and then runs or the backs run. They have not really used any of that West Virginia type spread formation or spread runs.
2nd and 5. Lynch on the left side. Mitchell's got him all wrapped up. He broke free momentarily. And now under a wave of orange. And Mitchell just stayed with it and helped out on the tackle.
Watch Mitchell, the middle linebacker, number 40. Runs right through the opening gap there. These linebackers are just too quick. Mayo and Mitchell, Carl, the 3 starting linebackers. And the rest of the defensive line are all there.
Mitchell's had a wonderful game, the senior out of Norfolk. Mike Dunbar in the middle there with the white hair. And he's wondering how he can get his offense something positive. 3rd down and 7. Forsett flanks Longshore in the shotgun. Plenty of time that time. The pass complete. Short of the first down, though. out to the 29-yard line, and that's it. We're going to have a punt coming up after we check in with Reese Davis. Reese?
All right, Brad, Gators trying to reestablish order in the swamp. Southern Mississippi jumped to a 7-0 lead, but now Deshaun Wynn has plowed in from the 3, and the Mighty Gators on top 14-7 just before the half.
And here, one of their counterparts in the SEC having a good ball game at home. Tennessee was picked 3rd in the East behind Florida and Georgia. And right now they lead 21-0 over the 9th-ranked team in the land. Larson to punt. Again, been a busy punter. Nice kick. High spiral. Rogers fields at the 22. First time he hasn't fair caught one, and he got up to about the 28. 49-yard punt, 6-yard return. Will return with Tennessee up by 3 touchdowns in just a moment. Neyland Stadium in Knoxville on a beautiful early September day. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire, Bonnie Bernstein. And look at Eric Ainge's numbers. He threw 5 touchdown passes all of last year. He's got 3 already today. And on the run out to the 30 is Arian Foster.
When you talk about Ainge and having a good day so far, that's just going to boost his confidence. That's what David Cutcliffe was telling us yesterday. He says, I like my offenses and my quarterbacks to have confidence and that little swagger. What do you say? A little pizzazz.
Pizzazz, that's
I like
it.
a little pizzazz in my offense and in my quarterbacks.
And they've had it today. 2nd down and 8. All at the 30-yard line of Tennessee, leading 21-0 here in the 3rd quarter. Foster with a block and a big first down across the 40, almost out to midfield. Arian Foster got 19 yards. So now the running game's starting to work because the passing games work so well.
That offensive line's doing a nice job. The tight end gets a crushing block. Huge gaping hole. I think the humidity and the heat is starting to take a toll on some of these big defensive linemen for Cal.
That's the best gain of the day for Foster, who's got 68 now on the ground. Tennessee, you see, far out rushing California. And Arian Foster, 68 yards on 16 carries. Just on their side of the midfield stripe. Tennessee, first down. Foster will empty the backfield. And Ainge going deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown. Touchdown, Tennessee 27-0.
And then Hampton, number 3. You know, I'll tell you what. Swain runs down the middle of this field, and no one even looked at him. He was so alone. I mean, it was like there were no defenders around him. Now, Hampton, number 3, is supposed to be over there. Watch this. Look at Swain. You don't see a white shirt until about now. And he's crossed the goal line.
I tell you, that play has David Cutcliffe's stamp all over it.
Will Hoyt, extra point, will cap off another 72-yard march and another long touchdown. The wide receivers, Bonnie talked about it. They were going to make their mark. They're making it now between Meacham and Swain. Eric Ainge, 4 touchdown passes. 28-0 Tennessee.
Fidelity Active Trader Services.
Eric Ainge, Tennessee's quarterback, with 5 touchdowns in this game after all of his struggles last year. Coordinator David Cutcliffe telling me he did something with Ainge in the offseason he's done with very few other quarterbacks, and that he made him go through a ton of live contact in summer workouts. He said, I saw how disheveled and fragile Ainge was in the offseason, and I thought that's what he really needed to gain his confidence back. When I asked Eric about it, he said there's no substitute for live contact, so you can feel what's coming at you.
David Cutcliffe said to us, I treat quarterbacks like offensive tackles. Nobody gets babied. The kick deep, 5 yards deep, Daniel Lofton, and he won't bring it out. So, again, great kicks by Will Hoyt have kept Cal pinned to their own 20 or worse.
All right, look what happens when they put the guy in motion. When this guy comes in motion, this is the guy they want to come get wider, because the guy they're trying to throw the ball to is the guy on the inside, the guy along the hash mark. He widens. The safety widens. Stop it right there. Look at this. Wide open right down the middle. They widened to Hampton, the strong safety, with the back out of the backfield and got the man right down the seam of the field.
As Paul said, it took about 20 yards before anybody on Cal's defense even looked at him.
Well, Cal has had 8 possessions in 5 of their starts. They come on the 20 or worse.
And they're at the 20 again. 2 tight ends set here. Throw is going to be too long and intercepted. Nope, dropped. Jonathan Wade had a gift there and couldn't quite hold on to it. Let's find out what the Sooners are doing. Let's check in with Reese.
All right, Brad, Paul Thompson at quarterback for Rhett Bomar, who's kicked off the team against UAB, and the Sooners on the move early, and Thompson going to the big tight end, John Finley, drops it in there nicely to Finley, who got himself open. OU up 7-0 in the first.
The offense. 10 yards from the previous
We'll
drive.
see Oklahoma next week against Washington. Ian Norman, a holding call against Cal is not going to help their cause any, that's for sure. And again, they still have not gone to Joe Ayub. They're giving Nate Longshore all the rope he can handle and see if he can snap out of this.
And what Tennessee has done, their defense, they have taken the 2 running backs, Forsett and Lynch, out of this football game.
Completely. And I mean completely. Lynch gets the handoff out of the shotgun and got cartwheeled again. Ryan Carl's not the biggest linebacker in the world, but he just bleeds Tennessee. From the time he was about 6 months old, this is what he wanted to do out of Franklin, Tennessee, and he's had some big plays coming off that corner.
I'm not surprised that Jeff Tedford stayed with Longshore coming out, but I think now is a time where he may want to get his other guy in there because you're going to need them both down the road. They were both kind of equal coming in. He says it's hard to pick between one or the other. Longshore is not having a good day. Let the other guy come in and have some fun.
Longshore stands in and fires in and out of the hands of Lavelle Hawkins, and Carl was there defensively again, the linebacker.
Brad, what's happening really for Longshore is the offensive line that time blocked a little bit, but he has nobody deep to throw the ball to down the field. And what he's doing, he's ended up throwing passes. It was 3rd and what, almost 20?
Yep.
He ends up throwing about a 9-yard pattern. It doesn't help him.
Especially when his receivers don't hold on to it either.
Yeah, they don't hold on, and the deep guys are not getting open.
Cal has faced an average of 3rd and 10 today. This is 3rd and 18. Jordan, the motion man, will set up on the far side, and Longshore with long yardage to go, fires, almost picked off again by Wade. It was Jordan, the intended receiver. And Phil Fulmer says that's my guy, Jonathan Wade, the track star, 60-meter man and a 4x1 100-meter man, both indoor and outdoor.
Let me ask you a question. When you're a quarterback and you're standing like this, can't he see those orange shirts?
Hey, he needs to get rid of the ball. He probably didn't see Wade because Wade was up forward and then dropped back. Made a good play on the ball.
Wade's made some great plays today.
Larson now will have to punt from his own goal line. Rogers back waiting on it. Tennessee's got the return on unless the snap's bad. And again, pretty decent kick. Rogers will take it at the 49. Got by the first man and got close to the 42-yard line. So great field position for Tennessee. Less than 9 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. They have total control of the football game right now. And they got their offense coming back out on the field with a 4-touchdown advantage. Can Eric Ainge get any better? We'll find out when we come back. Stadium in Knoxville, and this is what the 109,000 have been waiting for since last December when this team didn't make a bowl game. They're watching number 23 Tennessee throttle 9th-ranked Cal 28-0. With Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire, and Bonnie Bernstein, I'm Brad Nessler. Nice to have you along with us here in Knoxville, where the Vols have their best starting field position, and they might have another touchdown. Ontario Hardesty is gone. He's in. Breaking tackles down the sideline. When things are going well, they're really going well.
Yeah, but when you run that hard and that good, good, and he had some great blocking, but the end of that thing was all Hardesty. Hardesty just showed you the power he has. It's like all of these running backs that they have in Tennessee, Foster, Hardesty, Coker, they're all coming off of injuries from last year, and I'll tell you, it hasn't affected them at all.
Well, this is Hardesty's first game. He's a redshirt freshman, and they were really high on this young man.
He's battled back from off-season knee surgery, suffered against Ole Miss in Game 4 last year, and his biggest play is a volunteer right there, and he just wouldn't quit. 35-0 with the extra point.
Well, Cutcliffe, the offensive coordinator, said what we want to do is get these guys, the defensive linemen of Cal, running. We want to get them running. So you run left and right. This is just poor tackling. Nobody tackles the young man. Ontario breaks 2 or 3 tackles and down the sideline.
You know, and David Cutcliffe told all of us the other day, he said another thing, the running backs haven't been strong enough the last couple of years. He said back in the day, Jamal Lewis, even the little guys like Charlie Garner, he said those guys could bench press 400 pounds. These guys had to get stronger, and Foster and Hardesty and those guys have made a commitment in the weight room, and it just showed off right there.
But not only did they want to get stronger, but a lot of the offensive linemen, they wanted to lose some weight. They felt like they weighed more last year, and they were not very athletic. So this year, the offensive linemen, they're more athletic and a lot lighter, and everybody on the team is much stronger. That, you know, having a losing season after 17 seasons will do that for you.
Yep. You know, it's amazing. Did you see Meacham, the wide receiver? He gets 2 blocks on this run. He not only blocks at the point of attack, and he's a wide receiver. He's 210 pounds, but he also makes another block downfield.
The Vols have put up 21 points in the last 5 minutes and 51 seconds. Wow. If you're just joining us, it's number 23 Tennessee 35, number 9 Cal nothing.
This will shake some people up.
You got that right.
I would say that Tennessee is back.
Lofton waits on this, and he'll take it from the goal line. Lofton out across the 25, cartwheeled out to about the 27, and if the name is familiar, his daddy was a good one, James Lofton's son, right there on the kick return. Don't forget ESPN Full Circle with Florida State and Miami. The game on ESPN. The close-ups of Bobby Bowden and the quarterbacks and everyone else on ESPN2. ESPNU and ESPN 360 had the Sky Camp plus commentary from Colin Coward on ESPN Full Circle. Florida State, Miami, Monday night. Here's the new quarterback. Joe Ayoub is in. Is it too late and too little? Probably, but he'll try. And Lynch has been trying all day. But all he draws is a crowd. Jonathan Wade is there defensively. So is DeMonte Bolden from the defensive line. Ayoub is a senior junior college player who came in last year when Longshore went down.
Started 9 games, won 5 and 4 in those starts. He's a little bit better with his feet. He can run a little bit better. He might be able to run the spread offense as far as the running part of the quarterback job a little bit better than Longshore.
Carl blitzed and now is trying to get back to pick up Lynch. And again, east and west running, not a lot of north and south, and Lynch doesn't get much out of it. Longshore 11 out of 20 and an interception. Couldn't get anything going offensively.
He's agile and he can run. Well, he better. The way this offensive line is blocked, he better be able to run. This defense, I'll tell you, the defensive front 7 of Tennessee, what they have done is they have just, when they came into this game, and they are the second best against the run in the nation, but they just shut this run down totally.
Here's a big 3rd down for Cal just to try to get something going, anything. Ayoub looking left all the way and throws a strike complete, and good looking play, and they're finally back in Tennessee territory for the first time in a long time. Let's check in with Bonnie.
Brad, one of the Cal Bear fans who's not enjoying this trouncing is former football player Jack Clark, who's a longtime rugby coach there. You've been sitting in the bench area. I saw most of this game. Jack, give me a sense of what the players have been like throughout this.
Well, it's been hard on them. The game, you know, we had a hard time getting some first downs in the first half, and I thought the defense really played well, and now we're falling off tackles a little bit harder, but maybe we'll finish well.
Stand by 1 sec, Jack.
First down, Cal. just inside the Tennessee 43. Ayub in the pocket, gonna loft it. Long's got a man open, and he can't quite get it. It's Lavelle Hawkins, very close, but no touchdown. Back to Bonnie.
Jack, you were on the 1977 team, the first time Cal and Tennessee played. Bears won 27-17.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that day?
Well, it was a warm night, a bit more humid than today, and it was loud like tonight. But we got off to a good start and had a good night on both sides of the ball. 400 yards in total offense, and the defense got us 4 turnovers, and we were able to hang on for a victory.
Thanks very much for the time, Jack.
18 rugby titles. That's not a bad record.
That's a good number there.
That's pretty good.
That is awful good.
Maybe a blitz coming from Tennessee. Ayub flares it out, got it to his fullback Store, and Store knocked down at the 40-yard line. It's going to be only about a 2-yard pickup, 3rd down and about 7, almost 8 coming up.
You know what? When you look at this defense, when we talk to the coaching staff, discipline. This defense is really disciplined. I'm talking about Tennessee's defense. These guys know what their job is, and they're all doing it. Nobody's trying to be a hero on this defense. They're all doing what their assignments are. And the coach, Chavis, I'm going to tell you what, he did a great job preparing this team.
No doubt about that. Ayub now in the gun on 3rd down and 8. Here they come. Joe's running for his life and throws on the run and intercepted by Tennessee again. Inky Johnson's got this one, and the Vols have got it back. Marvin Mitchell with the pressure. Ayub threw an ill-advised ball, and Tennessee's got it.
Ayub takes a mistake by the offensive line. The blitz is going to come right up the middle. Ayub takes a mistake by the offensive line, by the linebacker coming free. Now, don't make it worse. Just throw it away. Don't throw it up for grabs. Throw it into the ground. Give up on the play and come back for the next play. In chorus, Johnson, Inky Johnson's first career interception, and Jonathan Crompton's come in at quarterback. Eric Ainge's day might be done. He's already got career highs of 287 yards and 4 touchdowns. Why not give the young guy a shot? And he'll work from his own 26-yard line. David Yancey off the right side. 5:40 left here. Let's get another update from Reese in the studio.
All right, Brad, UCLA opening against Utah, and the Bruins a little more success than their Pac-10 buddies from Cal. Ben Olsen throwing a dart in there to Ryan Moya, the tight end, and the Bruins are up in the first quarter, 7-0.
Eric Ainge probably done for the day, and what a happy guy he's got to be. 1 less touchdown pass today than all of last year. Not bad. On 2nd down, here's Yancey. Yancey cuts it up to the inside, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down at about 4. And who in their wildest dreams, Tennessee, yeah, you know, they haven't been that tough at home in the last couple of years, but over time they have been. Who would have thought the number 9 team comes into the country, they can put in their 3rd or 4th running back and their backup quarterback.
Yeah. In the middle of the 3rd quarter.
I mean, this is something else that shoves it in your face.
Yep.
It really does, because and you got to love what Tennessee's doing. They have an opportunity in their very first game at 35-0 to give some of their backup people some experience.
Crompton's first throw is complete, and he's got a 1st down out to the 38-yard line. Redshirt freshman out of Waynesville, North Carolina, as we take a look at Friday Night Lights. And quite a player in high school, highly touted, comes in here battling for a spot to back up Eric Ainge, and comes out and gets a chance in the 3rd quarter of the first game of the season. That's pretty lucky, and David Cutcliffe now will get a chance to look at his young guy after his veteran was sensational. On 1st down, Yancey, a little hesitation, follows his blockers. Oh, he really got nailed, and Cal's got the ball on a fumble. Yancey took a big shot, and Brandon Mebane comes out of that pile with a fumble recovery.
That's the first time, or one of the first times, we've called Mebane's name. He is a preseason All-American, and he is a tough cookie, a defensive tackle, but hasn't done a lot today.
I don't think he's the guy that made the hit either. He just happened to be around the ball. There comes the hit, and he was in the vicinity. Zach Follett was the guy that made the tackle. So Ayub comes back out. Best starting field position for Cal inside the Tennessee 44. But time is running down to 3:44 remaining in the third quarter. AU got his man. Nice pass, and keeping his footing down to the 15-yard line is Began, the tight end, who's played this entire game because Craig Stevens was injured on the opening kick return of the ballgame. Don't forget, coming up next, college football primetime, another matchup between the Pac-10 and the SEC. Arkansas laying in the weeds in Fayetteville and saying, John David Booty, how good are you?
I think I heard Lou Holtz earlier on one of these shows, these cut-ins, picking Arkansas.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good pick. I kind of like that one.
Who knows what's about down there?
Oh, don't go jumping on the bandwagon now because the coach picked them.
First time in the red zone today for Cal. It comes following the fumble. AU throws complete, ball loose. Tennessee's got it back if it was a completed pass, but they're going to say it was not. You know,
Gotta
just
have control.
Just Ayub in the pocket, guys. This is just my opinion, Bob, and you know more about it. He just looks more confident than Longshore's looked all day long.
Well, Longshore looked pretty confident when he first started too. I mean, Ayub's been on the sideline. He hasn't been dodging yellow jerseys, defensive linemen all day. You know, getting sacked, getting thrown around, you know, and all that other stuff. He's been over there just getting weighted. He knows he's not going to win this game. All he wants to do is go out and complete some passes and just move the team down.
For all you folks in Tennessee and surrounding areas who heard Bob say yellow, he meant orange. He's colorblind.
Yeah.
And that's volunteer orange too,
yellow?
by the way.
Well, yellow? When you're a quarterback, when you see something coming at you, boy, it turns yellow.
Uh-oh, that one almost turned into a touchdown. That would have been a touchdown going the other way for Johnson again. And that's 3rd down and 10. Inky almost had himself another one.
Well, I'll tell you what, Lynch is the guy that saves a touchdown. Watch this. Johnson is there. Watch Lynch. He bumps him, not intentionally. He just bumps him. He's turning to go upfield. He bumps him and knocks the ball out. This is a great play by Lynch. Watch here. Bang. Yeah, he did. He saw him catch the football. That is an outstanding play by a running back.
Otherwise, it would have been about a 90-yard return for a touchdown. 3rd and 10. Crowd on its feet. 3 minutes left, third quarter. AU lofts it to the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for his tight end. It'll bring up 4th down.
You don't kick a field goal here. I mean,
well, now we got a little fight going on, too.
This.
A little bit of a skirmish going on down there, and the officials try to get in there in a hurry.
That's one thing you don't see a lot of in college football are fights.
Here's what happened in the pocket after the play.
Well, Cameron that's Cameron number 71. He's in on this play, and that's a little extra stuff.
Yeah,
I'd say
way and beyond. I'd say.
I just remember when fights broke out, I used to stand behind the head coach.
That's one place that's safe.
Oh yeah, they're not going to hit him.
Schneider will try a 32-yard field goal to get something on the board for Cal.
That means you weren't on the field.
And
you're right.
California avoids the shutouts with 2:48, and the Bluebirds out in Knoxville that they even tried that. 35-3. Cal on the board, trailing Tennessee. Well, the sun might be setting on summer, but the Angels of Anaheim are hoping to heat it up behind the big bat of Vladimir Guerrero. The Angels are looking to gain ground in the American League West. They'll visit Comerica Park, and Jim Leland's club getting back to the basics approach. Still has the Tigers on top of Major League's AL Central, with the Twins and the White Sox right in the hunt for October. I think Bonnie's heading up there after she leaves here, isn't she? I believe so.
She's going to do some baseball game, I know.
2:48 remaining third quarter, and the Cal Bears not only considered a threat to USC, who will play Arkansas right after us here on ESPN for the Pac-10, but a lot of people thought, well, maybe if things fall in the right spots, they could play their way into the BCS picture. And our buddy Lee Corso picked him to play for the national championship, and I know Lee's feeling kind of weird about that one right now. Let's check in with Bonnie.
Cutcliffe was telling me he really loves Jonathan Crompton. Look at his stats when he was playing in high school in Waynesville, North Carolina. 6,700 yards in just 3 seasons, 69 touchdowns, and he rushed for 800 yards, and he had 147 tackles as a safety. He says, I really love his toughness. He's going to be a gifted player for Tennessee. The reason why he's staying for Ainge for the moment, for this game, is because obviously he has a veteran experience, and he says Crompton doesn't quite know the playbook, obviously, as well as Ainge does.
Well, next week, Tennessee will have what they would expect to be an easier time, and then it gets tough right away in the SEC, and it won't be any picnic unless Eric can keep playing like he played today. Maybe he can beat everybody.
The first 4 games are at home. That one of those games includes the University of Florida, but that's a nice padding to have going into the season. 4 games in front of this crowd.
They were just hoping to get through this one and then hoping the pad would help.
Yeah.
This wasn't expected to be a pattern.
I'll tell you, old David Cutcliffe is not going to allow this team to take any team lightly.
That's true. Here's the kick, and it goes out of bounds, and that means Tennessee's going to have great field position with the flag, and they'll move it out to the 35-yard line. Well, Phil Fulmer, who talked with us over the last couple of days about the pressures of last year, 5-6, not making a bowl game, being home at Christmas. They were not used to that, and he got tough on everybody too. He tightened up the team discipline, some of the off-field incidents. He had 3 suspensions and 2 dismissals just since May. There were 8 Tennessee players arrested from January to August of 2005, and from various things, and some of those guys aren't around anymore. Phil got tough. He brought back a tough offensive coordinator, kind of changed the whole picture of this football program. That's what they were hoping to show the nation tonight, and so far they are.
Cutcliffe said something to us that when he came back after those 7 years away, that he saw something in the makeup that he didn't like. And I think being friends with Phil Fulmer as he is, I think they straightened that out.
2:23 and the clock winding down, 35-3.
Grace, do you think that Cutcliffe would have gone anywhere else to take a head coaching job?
I don't think so. I think this is he was looking for head coaching jobs.
And Phil Fulmer, 78%. So, I mean, when you're getting heat and you won a national championship and you won 78% of your games, maybe there's something wrong with what we expect of everybody on a yearly basis. Check in with Reese Davis.
All right, Brad, Alabama opening in Tuscaloosa against Hawaii, and Tim Castile running behind big freshman lineman Andre Smith goes into the end zone. Alabama on top of June Jones' team, 10-3 in the second quarter.
All right, Reese, thanks. The Hawaii team came into Atlanta and practiced a couple of days in preparation for going over to Tuscaloosa. June Jones and Chan Gailey, old friends, so they use the Georgia Tech facilities. Georgia Tech has a big game tonight in Atlanta against Notre Dame.
Oh boy,
that'll be a dandy.
You know, you were talking about, you didn't mention Mebane's name all day long, and he was a consensus All-American for this year. He just nailed somebody.
He is going to be an awfully good one. He's had a knee injury, or ankle injury rather, last year. Still had 7 sacks, was first team all Pac-10. And now Britton Colquitt will have to punt. He hasn't been a very busy punter. Only the second time 3 and out for Tennessee all day. Boy, they'll take that all year. Deshaun Jackson is back deep inside his own 20. Might have a shot at this one, and will from the 19. He's not going very far. Nice job on the special teams by Demetris Morley. Britton Colquitt, long line of Tennessee punters by the same name. They've had some good ones. His cousin Jimmy, the all-time leader at 43.9. His brother, 42.6. And his daddy, who played a long time in the National Football League, 42.5. And then he's next in there. They just grow punters around here.
Yeah, why? I mean, why the Colquitt family? I mean, the father, 2 sons, and now a cousin too.
Yep.
It's they were awfully good.
And he hasn't had to do much tonight, but he's been good when he did. Inside a 20 and a 59-yarder that he just blasted, that carried the punt returner back inside the 10-yard line earlier in the ballgame. Tennessee takes a timeout. 10 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and a timeout taken by Tennessee. So Cal, 35-3, Tennessee out in front. Let's take a look at the game track. Eric Ainge, career highs, 287 yards, 4 touchdowns. The interception was off a tip ball, and then the defensive pressure. And the pressure came from Gerard Mayo and a bunch of guys. Mayo had a couple of sacks, and then Lynch and Forsett have been running sideline to sideline because they can't find any room to go up the middle. And then Hardesty just putting a cherry on top of the sundae, breaking tackles, ripping down the sideline, and that's where we are at 35-3. And a great job by the associate head coach and defensive coordinator John Chavis of having this Tennessee defense fired up.
All the way around. The special teams, which were not very good the last couple of years for Tennessee, has been excellent. The offense has been outstanding, and Chavis has replaced those guys that nobody thought could be replaced in fine fashion.
Well, Tennessee here at home had lost 6 straight home games to top 10 teams. And they're not going to lose today unless just the bottom falls out in the fourth quarter. They got a huge lead and just seconds remain here in the third quarter. Ayub in the gun will hand it off to Lynch. Lynch finds an opening and he shows his moves and gets down the sideline out to the 45-yard line as 2 seconds is all that remain. Tennessee has dominated in the ball game here at home. Their home opener against the 9th-ranked team in the country at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. With Bob and Paul and Bonnie, Brad Nessler with you. It's nice to have you along with us on our ESPN kickoff weekend. And I think a lot of people thought Cal was going to come in here and push the balls around because it has happened at times in recent years. It has not even come close to happening today. From the 45, first down, California. Final play, third quarter. Ayub down the middle, incomplete, no flag, and now it does fly in. It'll be pass interference on Morley. Intended for Began, the tight end. The wide receivers haven't done much for Cal today. The tight end's been involved in the offense really more than they have.
Well, I think the speed of that secondary has just eaten up the receivers and the tight end. That time got a little bit too close to him.
Not sure that ball was that catchable, but still a pass interference and a first down. And that first down will come in the fourth quarter. Down to the 40-yard line. John hasn't had much to argue about today or be upset about. He didn't like that one.
Well, I didn't like it either. I didn't think it was pass interference. I think the ball was already gone. It was by. Beecham didn't have a chance of catching a ball.
Quarter closes with Tennessee in command. They'll get a big ovation from the fans. We'll switch into the field. 35 to Tennessee. Change ends of the field. I guess we're going to wait another play.
You have a penalty at the end of the quarter. It's an untimed down, and so you're going to have one play and then change ends.
So it is first down, California at the Tennessee 40-yard line. Ayub will back up now into the shotgun. 3 wideouts for him. Trying to get some offense mustered. Throwing long into coverage. And had the defender not fallen down, that would have been another interception. So we're just about set to officially, I guess, begin the fourth quarter. And, you know, as we check back in with you, Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire, fellas, now not only are people going to say, yeah, Cal's ready for the national spotlight and the national championship picture, now people are going to say maybe Tennessee can win the SEC. That's what's going to happen after this week.
Well, I mean, that's how things change so quickly, and I think a lot of it's going to go to David Cutcliffe, the offensive coordinator. 2 other assistant coaches on offense came in also, but the tempo was changed. I think Phil Fulmer changed the attitude we've talked about, got everybody in shape, lose some weight, get stronger, and I think that is shown here tonight.
Nasty defense is going to be talked about too.
Oh, you know, and when I look at Cal, though, you know, I'm looking at a team, nothing worked. Their offense was bad, their defense was bad, special teams really didn't have a chance to do much, but they just didn't put anything together anywhere. And supposedly they had a pretty good defense. I don't think so. Tennessee has the defense.
Yeah, and Tennessee has got the big lead, and we're just about set to get going here now officially in the fourth quarter. 15 minutes
Hey,
remaining.
how about giving a shout out to our old colleague and my partner Keith Jackson. First year of college football that he has not been in a booth in the first week of September, in over 50 years. He's sitting back there in California at his home in Sherman Oaks, watching this game. You know, he grew up born and raised in Georgia,
right.
So he's an SEC fan. And now he lives in California for the longest time, so he's a Pac-10 fan. So I'm sure he's just enjoying watching this game, not having to worry about it.
Tonight.
Who's he rooting for tonight? I think he's going to be rooting for the team that
win it
with the
dark helmets on.
Well, I thought Coach Tedford was going to have a little more success with Knoxville on a Saturday night stuff. It's a tough one.
But Keith, you did it. You did it well, and you did it for a long time.
You did it better than anybody.
Yes, he did.
You're a living legend.
Well, sometime tonight we're going to start the fourth quarter. You talk about timing rules. They could have taken that 5 minutes and given it back to my life somewhere along the line. Second down and 10 for Cal. Ayoub running and grounding it. You know, Lynch was the closest guy.
We talk about the timing rules. I think a lot of the coaches were against it. I don't think they were against shortening the game. I think we all are for shortening the game. They were getting to be 3.5, 3:45, some 4-hour games.
They don't want to lose the plays.
Exactly. But the way they did it, I don't think they like it on the change of possession or on the kickoff. Why not? Don't stop the clock when you make a first down to move the chains, or don't stop the clock, or stop the clock when you go out of bounds, but when you bring the ball back in and mark it ready for play, wind the clock.
Throw down complete, and it's a touchdown, Cal. Deshaun Jackson made a nice move and an adjustment after the catch, and a 40-yard touchdown.
Brad, let me tell you something. It is so easy to throw the football, you ought to know, when you have time to throw it. And you just take a look at the time that he has to throw this football. Ayoub was just standing back there, and he just waiting and waiting and waiting for Jackson to get open. Look at the time he has, and look at where the defenders are. They're all sitting back in the end zone. When you get protection, you can play.
Well, the second guy in is always going to be successful. It's like the backup quarterback. Everybody wants to see the backup quarterback, and the reason they're successful is because your mindset. You come into the ball game, you know the game is already decided, so let's just make some plays. You haven't been sacked, you haven't been knocked in the mouth, and you play better.
Only the 6th reception by a Cal wide receiver, and this one, Deshaun Jackson, their big play man, goes for a touchdown to cap a 77-yard drive in a hurry.
He's just going to release to the outside and hang in that area between Wade and the deeper safety. He catches it, the safety goes for the block, really, and not to try to get the ball. Wasn't going to tackle him, he just tried to block him.
A question, there's 14:46 remaining. Cal is now within 25 points.
They just took a timeout.
Now, would we by chance see any of the Tennessee starters on offense back in the game?
Possibility.
Not yet.
Tennessee wanted to go, or rather California wanted to go for 2. I don't know if they didn't have the right personnel in there or not, but they ended up having to call a timeout that I'm sure they would love to have later in the ball game. But at least they've got their first touchdown of the 06 season. Each team 2 timeouts remaining. Ayoub has come off the bench and sparked the Bear offense a little bit here.
He has looked good.
Let's see if they can pick up the 2-point conversion.
So you can see why the competition between he and Longshore went right down to last Monday or Tuesday before Jeff decided on who he wanted to start. He says somebody's got to take the first snap. They're very equal. Nobody has separated themselves, but somebody's got to take the first snap.
All right, what about, all right, let's go to next week. What about next week?
Well, I think that's got to be a coach's decision. He knows how Longshore came out of this game. He knows how Longshore reacted to adversity, and how Ayoub. Of course, Ayoub's doing well, but he's playing you know, it's not the beginning of the game. The crowd's not as loud. The tension, the pressure is not there. It's got to be his decision. And I'm very impressed with this guy. He turned this program around like nobody else has in the past. And whatever he would do, I'd go along with.
Ayuk for the two-point conversion, throws complete, and he got it to Robert Jordan. So Cal gets a touchdown pass and a two-point conversion. Deshaun Jackson was the guy that got him in the end zone, and that was on this play. Good for 40 yards. Great adjustment after the catch by Deshaun to make the move to get Cal in the end zone for the first time today. Everybody up. Now they're going to back out of it. They had 10 guys within 20 yards of the ball, and now they're backpedaling. Jonathan Hefney is the deep man for Tennessee. Tom Schneider will kick. Robert Meacham goes back. Dual return formation now. He's had the big day as the wide receiver. And he's going to field this kick at the 3-yard line. Meacham. Nice return just to get to the 20. Let's check in with Bonnie.
Brad, here's my feel-good story for the night. This is the photo of David Cutcliffe's family in the media guide. And if you look all the way over to the left, that would be the newest family member, 19-year-old Marcus Hilliard. He and Cutcliffe's son, Chris, have been best friends for 8 years when Cutcliffe moved the whole family to Oxford to coach Old Miss. But in 2001, Marcus's mother passed away from cancer. He bounced around with a couple family members. Things weren't working out. And so the Cutcliffe said, hey, move in with us. Now Chris and Marcus are both sophomores at UT, and they are team managers, and Marcus is just glad to have a family
Boy,
again.
that is a awesome story. First down. Eric Haynes is back in at quarterback. So when Paul said, well, what do you think about maybe some starters coming back in, the starting quarterback's back in?
Yeah.
35-11 here. Let's get another update on the Sooners. Check in with Reese Davis.
All right, Brad, and UAB giving the Sooners all they want right now. 7-0 Oklahoma lead until Corey White goes into the end zone, and the Blazers out of Conference USA tied up in Norman late in the first half.
Oh boy, Oklahoma didn't get out of the blocks very well last year either, did they?
Nope.
Had the same guy at quarterback too. Ainge throws on the run and throws it away. Nicely done to get it out of bounds, incomplete.
All right, QB. How difficult is it? Now, Ainge plays for what? Almost 3/4 of the ball game. He goes over and he sits down for 20 minutes or so, well, with another break, a half hour. How difficult is it to come back in, Bob, and play?
You mean after he drank that gallon of Gatorade?
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be tough on this guy because I know he wasn't planning on going back.
He probably cut all of his tape on his ankles off and just relaxed. He was probably talking to the 4-string guys.
Completes the pass, and Arian Foster, the starting tailback, gets 4. So both those guys were not in the last couple of series.
Yeah.
And now Tennessee's got a punt. So, you know, crazier things have happened. There's going to be less than 13 minutes left when Cal gets the ball back, but they should get it back in pretty decent field position unless Britton Colquitt hits another one of those 60-yard bombs off his right foot.
And I just think, I mean, it's kind of difficult. All right, let's, you know, we got our second unit in there. We're going to have a good time. Let's coast home. We got 35-0.
Yeah.
Now it's 35-11, and you got to give them the ball back, and there's still almost 13 minutes left in this ball game.
Deshaun Jackson is a guy back deep. Colquitt pinned him way down about the 6-yard line with his longest punt of the day. Whoa, he just got rid of that one. Great rush. Jackson with a chance from the 37 and up to the 47. So good field position for California. Justin Moy is the guy that got very close to the football.
Don't change games just yet.
So we'll be back and see if California can close the gap. 12:24 to play here in Knoxville.
ESPN College Game Day.
Had it called back for holding there early there. Washington State hanging in on ESPN2 with Auburn, holding them to 2 field goals so far, guys.
All right, Reese, those are the ones we were thinking about. So you brought us up to date as well. Thank you. Cal's got the ball back, good field position. And now the folks that have been here all day tailgating are saying, wait a minute, we got to get noisy again. Handoff, Lynch. Across midfield, trying to break a tackle into Tennessee territory as he got it to the 48, almost the 47-yard line.
Now that is some of that spread offense and the fake action and the give and go to the running back that we were talking about, Mike Dunbar, that you alluded to at the beginning, Paul. That little handoff with the running back, Lynch, if he gets loose, he could go all the way.
He looks like every part of his body moves when he's running.
2nd down and 4. Blitz coming off the corner. Ayub fires, complete. Nope, in and out of the hands. Deshaun Jackson had it and just spit it out right in front of the Tennessee bench. So it's going to bring up a 2nd down situation.
You know, California is
3rd down, Bob, excuse me.
24 points down. It's not, there's 11 minutes and 18 seconds. It's not inconceivable.
Nope.
But it's highly unlikely. But Cal, they're not worried about that. We just want to score every time we get out on the field. That's all they want to do right now is just go down and score.
Big 3rd down, might be 2-down territory considering the score. Ayub fires, and again they drop a ball. Robert Jordan thinking about where he was going before he looked it in. That's 5 drops by Cal today.
Well, you know, you can throw it, but you can't go out there and catch it after you throw it. And Ayub has done a tremendous job since he's come into the ball game. You know, look at these guys. That ball was kind of knocked away by Wade. But these are drops. These are passes that should have been caught. And there's no excuse for it.
And I think that's some of the reason that Jeff gave Longshore so much time, because it wasn't all his fault, as Bonnie was talking about earlier.
Exactly what Jeff was alluding to when he went in at halftime.
4th down and 4. Ayub over the middle, diving attempt, and not able to hold on is Eric Began, the tight end.
Eric Began is the tight end, and he's running, and he almost looked like he stopped. And Ayub just threw the ball out in front of him. Look on the left-hand side of your, or the right-hand side of your screen, and you're going to see it. Look at this. He's running straight up the field. Look at
You see where the quarterback threw. The quarterback threw between the defensive people. The tight end didn't get between them. The quarterback saw a huge gaping hole in there, but the tight end did not run to the ball.
Thursday, September 21st.
Who's panty?
Packed house, Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire, Bonnie Bernstein, and our ESPN crew with you. Number 23, Tennessee leading 9th-ranked Cal, 35-11. And getting close to midfield, LaMarcus Coker getting his first work in the backfield for Tennessee. Hardesty's had a good day. Foster, the starter, had a good day. And now LaMarcus Coker, the 3rd tailback, getting some playing time.
And you never have enough good running backs.
Right.
Coker is a redshirt freshman. Hardesty is a redshirt freshman. Foster is just a sophomore. So a lot of good running backs and a lot of youth at that position.
Tennessee 160 yards on the ground. They're the better of it, and Cal was the team that was supposed to have all the rushing yards today. 2nd down and 7 for Eric Ainge and the Volunteers from midfield, and a pickup of about 3 as we check in with Bonnie.
Well, I would bet if you had an uncle who was an ex-professional basketball player who won 2 championships with the Celtics and his name was Danny Ainge, you would go to him for advice a lot. Danny, when Eric was having struggles last year, what type of advice were you giving him?
Well, you know, I just try to have Eric make sure that he loses himself in the team. Just play to win and you'll play better. When you start worrying about yourself and your own predicament and the number of reps you get and the opportunities you get to do what you want to do on the field, then I think that's when the struggles happen. But Eric is a very mature kid for his age, and I think he's really excited for this year to get all the reps.
I think he's growing up in front of our eyes. Tennessee's got a 1st down. Back to Danny and Bonnie.
Danny, how relieved were you right at the onset of the game when Eric threw that bomb that completed to Robert Meacham?
I was happy for him. I think that gets the pressure off right away. But Eric was very confident this morning. He really believes in this coaching staff. He really believes in his teammates. And I left meeting with Eric this morning and just believing that he was going to have a great game today.
Right about now, Eric's believing in himself, Brad.
I think he is. And Danny, you look good in orange, man. You're usually wearing green. Inside the 40, a first down for Tennessee. With the clock under 9 minutes and a 24-point lead here in the fourth quarter of their home opener. They'll keep it on the ground. And again, it's LaMarcus Coker. Coker's down about 15 pounds, but he hit the weight room pretty heavy, too. He actually looks like he's heavier, but it's all muscle now. And everybody with more discipline around this Tennessee program in the weight room and their off-field activities, and it's all showing up today.
Don't you believe, though, when you're sitting there talking to the coaches and the players combined, that there was a discipline problem here last year? I mean, a bad one.
Things got lax, and Phil told us that. He said, we just started to let things slip out of our hands a little bit, and we had to get back to what we did well when we were winning SEC titles and winning BCS championships and all of that. And they've done a great job of it, it looks like. Coker again. They just keep running number 22. That time he's dropped in his tracks, though. Thomas DeCoux with the tackle.
I agree with Bob totally that Cutcliffe, when you were talking about him at the beginning of the week, Bob said the difference that he makes in this football team.
Well, I just know, being a quarterback and having played that position and being with a lot of pro offensive coordinators, and then remembering back in college they didn't call them offensive coordinators back then, but what that quarterback coach meant to me. The guy that called the plays, the guys that you met with when you went over to work out, the guys that called those plays when you came over to the sideline, you put on the headphones, the guy speaking to you, the confidence that you had in him. And if you believe in a guy like that and he trusts you and you trust him, I could just tell that Cutcliffe, having been where he's been through this with the two Mannings, and they've been very successful. And that's not to say that Eric Ainge is going to have as much talent as the Manning brothers, or Schuler, or Kelly, or some of the other guys. But I saw it in his eyes, and I saw it when I talked to Cutcliffe the other day, that this was a guy that had a lot of talent and a lot of ability, and we're going to pull it out of him.
Colquitt now will try to punt and keep it out of the hands of Brandon Hampton back there. Should be able to knock this out in the corner, or he'll certainly try. And a great punt and great coverage down at the 6-yard line. Almost catching it down there was Demetrius Morley. So you couldn't do it much better than that. Little pooch punt down to the 6. 7-11 remaining in the ball game. Cal's got the ball back. Unfortunately, they're down by 24, and they are down deep in their own territory. We'll see if they can dig themselves out of that hole with their offense with Marshawn Lynch and company when we come back.
Oh, I'm a man.
And loving it at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Packed house. The orange wave, and now they've got Cal pinned down in their own territory again as we've got 7-11 remaining. It's been all Tennessee today. Eric Ainge, 4 touchdown passes. Ontario Hardesty, a long touchdown run. A Tennessee defense has given up very little. And now Joe Ayub trying to somehow dig this team out of a hole, and again, incomplete. Robert Jordan, that one was too high. Ayub came in to take over for Nate Longshore, who for the most part was ineffective, threw for 85 yards and an interception. And Ayub has sparked Cal a little bit, but it's been too little and too late, and those numbers aren't terrific either, but the long touchdown certainly helps the looks of what he's done so far.
Well, he doesn't seem to be a real accurate passer. Last year he was under 50% in his passing as well.
Well, he's missed 10 of his last 11, so I think you nail it right on the head there, partner. Now in the pocket, trying to buy himself some time, and throws, and there's another incompletion. And let's get a 30-30 update right now and head to Reese in the studio.
All right, Brad, in golf, Tiger Woods trying to win for the 5th straight time on the PGA Tour. He scuffled a little bit, won over 72, but he's just 2 off the lead at the Deutsche Bank Classic. Ohio State, the #1 team in the land, cruised past Northern Illinois. Troy Smith throwing for nearly 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. That sets up the Buckeyes to take on Texas next. Don't forget, college football final at about 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Sports Center news all the time.
All right, thanks, Reese. Keep us posted. And Cal, the #9 team in the country, and they're not going to be #9 on Monday. 6:41 remaining, and they are getting thumped by the Volunteers, 35-11. And Cal taking a long time in that huddle at the goal line with a 3rd down and 11 coming up. Two wideouts to the near side and one to the far. Tennessee showing blitz, and they're going to bring it off the corner. AU had to get rid of it, and it's incomplete, nowhere near any intended receivers. So the top 10.
All right.
Here's how they look like coming in, Bob.
All right, you guys, here you go. The top 2 right there. Does it make any difference in the preseason rankings if you're ranked in the top 1st or 2nd as far as winning an eventual championship? How many times in the 8 years of the BCS do you think a team ranked 1st or 2nd won the championship?
Twice.
Well,
once.
4 times.
That was close.
4 of the 8 times. Listen to this. 4 of the 8 times they went on to win an eventual championship if you were ranked 1st or 2nd. The other 4 times where the team was ranked out of the top 10.
A little bit of trivia from Mr. Greasy.
So you don't have to be ranked in the top 10 to win the national championship.
It doesn't hurt if you can run the table. You'd be in pretty good shape. Let's take a look at today's SEC Conference update presented by Dr. Pepper. And the preseason polls had Florida and Georgia ahead of Tennessee. And Tennessee looking good. Florida was struggling a little bit. Georgia routed Western Kentucky today. South Carolina won Thursday night. And Vanderbilt was beaten by Michigan. I don't know Kentucky's latest score. That's the East of the SEC. The West, Auburn and LSU, everybody pretty much in agreement that those are the 2 best. Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Mississippi State. Mississippi State losing to South Carolina the other night. And Arkansas, don't forget, plays #6 USC when we're done here in about 6 minutes.
That's going to be a good ball game.
Yep. Coker's got a crease. Brought down inside the 30 by Thomas DeCoux, or he would have been gone. 22 yards. So all 3 tailbacks looking good for Tennessee, and that's got to put a smile on the offensive coaches' faces as well.
Well, you know, look at, you're going to see Coker here, and he's the guy that's listed 3rd, number 22, and then breaks to the outside and then cuts it right back up in through the slot. But the one thing about these 3 running backs, first of all, Foster, 2 shoulders, bad shoulders, and a knee last year. Hardesty, knee, and Coker, a shoulder. So all of these guys are coming off of injuries, but they're all playing extremely well.
It's a 2nd offensive line in there, too.
At the 23, 1st down. And this time a short gain. You know, I want to bring up one other thing about we've talked a lot about David Cutcliffe, and we should, because he's one of the best offensive coordinators around. Well, we talked to Phil Fulmer the other day. Said, you know, you seem to be happy with your whole staff, because they changed everything offensively. Trooper Taylor became the wide receiver coach. He had been the running back coach. Kurt Roper's a running back coach now. They got both Matt Luke and Greg Atkins running the offensive line, and then Cutcliffe the offensive coordinator, and Phil's got final say over everybody. So he shuffled his entire offensive staff, not just bringing in an offensive coordinator who had taken a year off, who's an old buddy.
And Phil's been around here. He's been here for 30 years. He was the old offensive line coach before he was the head coach for 15 years.
That's right. Let's check in with Reese.
All right, Brad, again putting our fingers on the prime time pulse. The game going on ABC, Notre Dame and Georgia Tech. And so far, John Tenuta's defense has been able to stuff the Fighting Irish. They're taking down toward 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. And in Jordan-Hare Stadium, a game on ESPN2, Washington State's defense has been terrific. Auburn has 3 field goals. They're up by 2.
All right, Reese, thanks. I got a little trivia for you after this play, boys.
All right.
3rd down and 5. Eric Ainge in the shotgun, and he's going to pull it down and run. Excuse me, it's Crompton in there, and Crompton showing good footwork, and he gets a 1st down on a quarterback draw. So that'll fire him up, give him a little bit of confidence. Okay, Georgia Tech and Notre Dame are scoreless in Atlanta. The last time Notre Dame went to Georgia Tech and was tied back in the 1980 season, 3-3 final. Who was Georgia Tech's quarterback?
I don't care.
Ken Wisenhunt, the offensive coordinator for the world champion Steelers, who was a tight end and was forced into service because of injury.
Now, see, you would know that because you live in Atlanta.
Well, I don't care. You came up with this other one. You dug that up someplace. First down, Tennessee.
All right, I'll have one for you next
week. Good.
No,
yeah.
not right after.
Okay,
wait a minute. I'm getting one in here.
At the 12-yard line. And a run to about the 10, and then a big stick by Greg Van Hosen on the tailback Coker. Down to the final 3.5 minutes. You talked about Bob's basics earlier.
Yeah.
There hasn't been any pressure on Ainge.
Yeah, I said take the pressure off Ainge, and they did. They spread it around. The coordinator helped, and speed dominates defensively. We talked about that all night, and it really did.
And Paul?
Well, I said they can't be all consumed with California's running game. They shut that down, and by doing that, they also shut down the passing game.
Exactly. And now the chants from the fans here in Knoxville with 3 minutes left. And almost getting to the corner is Coker before he's knocked out of bounds.
All right. You want my trivia question?
Go ahead.
1958. The Citadel. Who was the quarterback?
You.
Nope. Wrong. And it's a household name. You guys should really have gotten this.
We should.
Bobby Schwartz.
Okay. I remember Bobby very well.
There you go.
I was at practice yesterday in Crompton. Cutcliffe had me come over and talk to his quarterbacks, and Crompton came over afterwards and said, "Mr. Greasy, can I have your autograph?" So I said, "Sure." He says, "It's not for me." He says, "It's for my dad."
At the 6-yard line, Coker close to the first down. Tennessee, Bob talked about having 4 home games to start the season, and it has helped them, but this was a big hurdle because it's Air Force and then Florida and then Marshall.
The problem with that, after the next 3, 5 of the next 7 are on the road.
And it's never easy in the SEC, at least very seldom.
How do you get 4 straight home games at the start of the season? I mean, you got
to have a good schedule.
Mike Hamilton's a good AD here. I don't know. Maybe it's him.
Boy, and it couldn't fit any better for them. They came off a bad season of 5 and 6, and then they get 4 straight home games.
Crompton, 4th and a yard, is going to try to run it again. And he's not going to get there. Tyson Alu made the stop, and Cal will take over. That's the good news for Bears fans. The bad news is that they're on 3-yard line again. Yeah, field position hasn't helped California much today either. And part of that's been the great kicking of Wilhoit on kickoffs, the great punting of Colquitt on punts, nice coverage, and just pinning them back and never really giving them that great a field position.
You know, when you go back and you talk about game balls in this game here, if you ever thought about it, you'd have to give the entire defense. I mean, they just did a tremendous job for Tennessee today.
You know, the word about the linebackers was inexperience but potential. I think the potential became something a lot more than that today. And those 8 or 9 guys they rotate on the defensive front have been great. Wade has been exceptional in the secondary. Here's Ayuk floating one out, complete, out of bounds. Jordan. And with 1:44 left, I think we can call our Cooper Tires player of the game. And I don't know that there was any doubt after maybe halftime who our player of the game was going to be. There he is. Cooper Tires player of the game, Eric Gage. A career night, 291 yards. That's the best he's ever done. 4 touchdowns. That's the best he's ever done. And his percentage would have been even a little bit better, but he threw a couple away here in the last drive or so.
I think Danny Ainge is just going to have an outstanding year.
Well, with the Celtics, or you mean Eric will have a great year
here? Eric Ainge and Danny Ainge, too.
Well, my old buddy Doc Rivers is up there coaching for
you know what? You went
the whole game.
A
1:38 left.
I know. I did. And everybody else around here in the truck, they're always calling him Danny Ainge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we say, no, Eric. It's Eric.
You've stayed away from it until the final minutes.
But I think with Cutcliffe as offensive coordinator, he's just going to have a great year.
3rd and short. First down run. Lynch still trying in there. Marshawn Lynch, and this is not the way you want to start a Heisman Trophy campaign. And this is the first time since '92, when Cal was kind of touting Russell White for the Heisman, that they've really made a push on a guy. And this isn't the kind of start he wanted, obviously. But he's one of the leaders of the team, that's for sure. And he'll have a lot better days than the one he had today. 74 yards rushing so far for Marshawn.
And it's like Tedford said, this is just one game. We want to win it, but, you know, the Pac-10 conference is what we want to win. We want to win the Pac-10 conference, and just playing, you know, they got Minnesota next week at home.
That won't be easy either.
No, they won't. But there's a lot of games to be played. There's 12 games this year, not 11. So they got a long season.
You know, how about Glenn Mason? Had a couple guys he suspended and took a linebacker and got him 163 yards on the ground the other night, or whatever it was. Ayub throws complete, stepping out of bounds to Sean Jackson. Jackson's going to end up with pretty good numbers today because he had the long touchdown reception in this half.
Yeah, Ayub definitely has better wheels than Longshore. Get out and move around, but they're just going to have to go back, look at the film, see who made mistakes, see who did things right, and make a decision on who starts. Could go that they'll, you know, if you got 2 guys that can play, why don't you play them?
Well, it's been a long time since beating a top 10 team, and Tennessee is on their way to doing that now. Incomplete on the pass there.
Well, you know, there's a couple things about tonight when you look at the film, too. For Longshore, the guys dropped the ball. For Ayub, the guys dropped the ball.
Yeah.
But the accuracy of Ayub is to me, and you brought it up too, Bob, it's questionable. I mean, he misses when he misses, he misses
bad.
A lot.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, it isn't like it's close.
And that's probably why Jeff decided on Longshore to be the starter, because he was the more accurate passer and higher completion percentage.
Ayub, screen pass to Marcus O'Keefe. Then Marcus O'Keefe into the Tennessee secondary, and he's all the way down to the 15-yard line. Morley makes a stop. 27 seconds and counting, a 27-yard gain, as a matter of fact. And they hustle downfield, trying to get...
See, this is where I think they could speed up the clock. Now, they stopped the clock to move the chains.
Right.
I mean, why not just keep the clock running?
Well, in this particular case, they just did. California took a timeout. That's okay, but I agree with you totally. If you ever really wanted to speed up this game, and that's the best way to do it. I mean, I don't even understand why you stop the clock on a first down.
Well, back in the old days of college football, when they didn't have regular guys handling the chains on the sideline, they took them so long to get up to find out where they're supposed to put the stakes. In other words, you throw a 25-yard pass and it's complete, and now it takes the chain guys to come up. All right, should I come? Should I move? All right. One guy's selling soda pop all week. One guy's a librarian. And
say what you really think, Reese.
He's out there whacking the chain guys.
And they're not paying these guys. They're not paying these guys. You know, it's just they're out there doing them, helping out.
So Cal takes a timeout. 27 seconds left. All they can do basically is make this a little less painful on the scoreboard if they score. USC and Arkansas, don't forget, coming up. Mike and Todd and Holly are standing by there. 35-11. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire, Bonnie Bernstein, Brad Nessler with you here in the final seconds from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Ayub from the 14-yard line. Joe and a whistle and flags down. Sometimes you just can't end a game, can you? False start on Cal, and that's following a timeout. You always want to see a false start penalty after a timeout. That'll drive you crazy.
Well, why do you get a false start when most of the crowd is gone and the noise is way down?
I don't know.
You shouldn't have one now.
So that backs it up to the 19-yard line.
Dead ball prior to the snap. False start, number 6 of the offense. Would the clock operator please reset the clock to 27 seconds?
So the final count on drop balls for Cal is 5 on the day. And
Seems like 15.
And 2 turnovers, both of which came in their own territory.
Well, they still want 4 more seconds back on the clock. And I think the people here running the clock at Neyland Stadium are saying, Rick, Lumiette, that is our referee, we don't really need those 4 seconds, okay? We all got some barbecue waiting for us outside in the parking lot. But Cal wants the 4 seconds, obviously, so they'll get it at the 19-yard line. Ayub over the middle on a slant's got his man. Going to be a 1st and goal down at the 1-yard line. Marcus O'Keefe, 18-yard pickup.
And the clock stops to move the chains.
Right.
Those guys who are selling pop and insurance aren't moving as fast as they should.
No. Well, actually,
that's how it started 50 years ago.
No offense, but if you saw the guys carrying the change, you'd see why it's taken a while. And here's Ayub, and he's going to get in for the touchdown. So Cal puts up 6 more, and they'll go for 2, I suppose, here in the last 9 seconds. You know, this might look better to some pollsters somewhere along the line, I guess.
I think it's fair to say, and there's the spread. It's the spread offense in its best. Fake one way and have the quarterback run the other. I think it's fair to say that we did not see California
at their best.
Exactly. They're going to play a lot better throughout the rest of the season.
No, they'll kick the extra point, so try to make it 35-18. And the kick is up and good by Tom Schneider. Let's check in with Reese Davis here with 9 seconds left in Knoxville.
All right, Brad, once you guys get those 9 seconds in the bank, USC will start the John David Booty era, taking over from Matt Leinart. He's going into a hostile house to take on the Razorbacks. Southern California and Arkansas coming up.
All right, Reese, thanks. Here, the pep band from Cal made a long trip. So did the cheerleaders and about 5,000 or 6,000 fans, and they didn't get to see what they had hoped for. And they were all over town the last couple of days, and they were hooping and hollering because they had a top 10 team and the highest preseason ranking since 1952. But it's not going to matter because Phil Fulmer and his Tennessee Volunteers, coming off a bad season, very, very impressive tonight. And this is a good way for Tennessee to start their season, that's for sure.
It's been a long off season for Philip Fulmer. He says, his wife says, well, you're spoiled.
That's right.
You're spoiled. You haven't had a losing season in a long time. And he said, you know, she was right.
His only loss in a season opener was to a Pac-10 team, UCLA, but now he's going to go to add another one, and 14-1.
You know, Brad, when you were talking to him the other day on camera, I mean, he did look a little, I mean, he looked nervous. I mean, you're looking at a guy, you know, he had to put behind him that 5 and 6 season.
Yeah.
And he said, I've never had to do that.
Right.
Well, this kind of solves a whole lot of problems for him, for at least this week.
For at least this week, that's right. Well, that whole being home at Christmas time is something you just don't talk about around these parts.
When does Florida come in?
That's is it the 3rd week or 4th week? We had it up on their schedule.
Yeah.
3rd week.
3rd week. And here comes an onside kick. Andrew Larson, the punter, is going to lay it up there, and Tennessee is going to come down with it. So the Vols make a nice catch with a good hands team, and we'll have 1 play left in the ball game.
You want to save some time too, Grease? Just say it's over.
It pretty much is. 35-18. Final seconds as Tennessee will have to run 1 more play. So a new season for everybody, and an impressive opening for Tennessee. Not so for Cal. It's going to be a long flight back to Berkeley. And Tennessee coming off the field with a big win for Phil Fulmer. 35-11 the final. For Bob Greasy, Paul McGuire, Bonnie Bernstein, Brad Nessler saying so long. This is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Mike Patrick, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe in Fayetteville. It's all yours, Mike.